Get this bad boy started here. Okay, let's go and check us out over on the YouTube side. Make sure we're good to go. We should be just a minute early here. Oh, looks like
go live. Do it now.
I think we are live, yeah. Oh no, we're not going to start doing German strudel talk again like we did last night on Matt's channel. Oh, it was way too much fun. Hey guys, what's going on? What is up? What is up? Welcome to Caliber Corner episode number 58. I do apologize. I'm getting over a cold, so if my voice sounds a little weird and I sound a little congested, made the mistake of seeing Metallica last week and brought home a fantastic head cold with me when you put me around 15,000 people. But I'm here for you all today. We're all here for you today. Guys, today we're going to talk about...
sexy for us.
What's that?
You're just trying to sound sexy for us.
Yeah, you know that. Bugout loadout for today, SHTF gun loadout, AR builds where to start. We can include some AR pistol chat there. And top 10 AR, we could call it AR or AK rifle accessories. Again, these are all, every topic you're going to get from here on out, I was going to say right now, it's going to be viewer requested, unless we have a specific topic. Now, we have had a lot of requests in the last couple of weeks come to my email, and people want to hear a deer chat. They want to hear a deer hunting chat. So we're going to go ahead and do that next Saturday. I know it's a few months early, but it's never too early to start talking about deer hunting. I explained to the guys on the panel here that whenever pumpkin spice appears, whenever that smell of pumpkin spice is in the air, whether it's in the candles or the overpriced lattes or whatever they put pumpkin spice in, it just automatically triggers the fall hunting mode in me. It's like you smell autumn and you just make yourself go over towards the hunting section at Walmart for whatever reason, which is usually stocked by this point, which is really bad for the wallet. So we will have a deer chat next week. What's that, Tony? Go right ahead, man. What's up?
Interrupt you here with this pumpkin spice thing. Why in the hell
pumpkin spice theory, man? Huh?
Why the hell is it third or fourth on the list for the pie when that's where it came from?
I'm confused. Why is pumpkin pie number 3 on the list?
You listed several reasons of smelling pumpkin spice.
Oh. I think it's because, you know, the pie is kind of a seasonal thing. It shows up everywhere else except for the pie, except for the holidays. Like you go into the stores and they've got we have in Nebraska, we have pumpkin spice lotto tickets. That you scratch them and they smell like pumpkin spice. So Tony, it doesn't matter. It's all good. It all triggers
because he's a basic white guy.
Yeah, but okay, with the pumpkin spice, I thought you don't want any scent when you're hunting deer. They're going to smell the pumpkin spice and they're going to know it's a human.
No. What I'm saying is that it triggers a chemical reaction in my brain that makes me want to go look at hunting stuff because it tells me fall is almost here. So although it's 90 degrees outside right now and it's 60% humidity in Nebraska and it does not feel like fall, Tony knows exactly how I feel. Yes. I'm getting there. We're getting there. We'll get into deer chat mode. Like I said, we'll go ahead and do that next Saturday. So real quick, I got to take attendance. We're running late. Let's see who's with us today. We got a very, very chatty, rowdy crowd over there on the YouTube side. Moo Butt's with us. Now he wants pie, don't we all? Stephen Dawkins, you need to email me at thecalibercorner@gmail.com. I need your address. You won the drawing last week for some gun channels, patches, and stickers. I need your address from you, buddy. Let's see. Hootie Who's with us today? Hootie Who in the house? Rob D is out there. He's watching. Jim's out there. Jim is here. John McDougald is out there also, or McDougald. William Edwardovich is with us. Good morning, sir. Sam of Anarchy 92 is with us. Tardot's in the house. Cadillac Jack. And that's everybody we got on the YouTube side right now. And so much good pie. I know we should just have a podcast where we just sit around and talk about pie and eat pie.
Yeah. Moobutt, if you want to talk about pie, I've bought 4 pies this week, all from listening to Food Travis. So they just put that subliminal thing in my head, and yeah.
See, for me, it's the Slim Jims. Every time Midnight Range TM has been posting a lot of pictures of Slim Jims in various locations, and it's like I pick them up now. I'm like, God, Slim Jim, this sounds so good. I could get a Snickers, but why bother when I can have a Slim Jim because it is the other candy bar, right? So
Slim Jim to keep with you in the hunting blind.
Oh, definitely. That's pure protein right there, man.
Add that to the list of topics.
Yeah, there we go. Slim Jims in the deer stand, yes or no? They'll probably pick up the scent, so I'd have to say no. But okay, over on the gun channel side, we got Jim over there. Jim is here. Jim, you're in like 3 places at one time. How do you find the time to do that? Patrick is over there. All right. So we got a couple people hanging out over on the gun channel side. We'll go over there and refresh the chat periodically to see if anybody new shows up and see what's going on here. Patrick says, get to the chopper. Yeah, we had a little bit of fun last night on Matt's channel with our Trigger Time Gaming. So let's see. Your next is in the house. How you doing, sir? Brownie Face, you're next. You shouldn't be frowny face and you should be happy. Ozzy Osbourne, good morning. All good morning to you too, sir. And Rob D says class is in session. All right, so man, let's go and let the panel introduce themselves. We'll go ahead and start off on my right with Tony. Tony, what's new, man? What's going on? What you been up to, Tony? It's been a couple weeks since I heard from you. What do you know, bud?
It's squirrel season in Illinois, so whenever it's spit weather, I'm trying to be out there doing that.
Tony gets a bit squirrely.
It's a
stupid.
little bit warm here now, so other than that, I ain't doing shit.
Yeah, when it's 90 out and like 60, 70% humidity, you're just not in the mood to go sit out in the woods. Maybe you are. I don't know.
Mosquitoes are in the mood to come out and drain you of blood.
You know, that's a problem with bugs right now. They know that their life cycle is coming to an end, so they just attack you. They don't care. I got bit by ladybugs, gnats, flies. I'm putting bug spray on, and it doesn't matter anymore. These things are just out to kill. They don't care. They want to go feed, mate, and die. That's pretty much what's going on right now with insects. Man,
how is that any different than us?
We don't bite each other often, so
bugs don't shoot guns.
Yeah, thank God. No, wasps, hornets, man. I got hornets all over the place too. It's just driving me nuts, man. Yellow jackets, whatever you want to call them. They're just
begging for that first hard freeze.
That will be nice. That will be so nice.
I keep no less than 4 cans of that long reach wasp spray in my garage.
Oh yeah, we got one in the front garage, one out back in the garage. I don't know, we might even have one in the house. I don't know why. I never want to spray that stuff in the house. That stuff is wicked, man.
Keep one in the attic. Keep
one in the attic. Well, our attic, it's Squib, it's finished, so we don't have to worry about that. But
oh yeah, that's right. Duh.
Yeah, it's all paneled and boxed. And doesn't mean we've had a wasp or two make it upstairs, but the bug spray we use in the house usually gets them. So, so Tony, can you give us any kind of an update on early watch? Any ideas? Anything going on for a morning show?
Are we just
nothing right now? Okay.
Still waiting for Jimmy to get his shit together. Really.
All right, we might have to call that man and see what's going on. See what we can do for him to get that show going again. So it'll be all right. All right. So Tony, thanks for joining us today, man. I do appreciate it. Squib in the house. Squib, what's new in your world, man? Where can we find you? What's on your channel? What's going on?
Every now and then I put out a video. Not all of them have been gun related, but just having fun with that. The channel's Squib Load, 2 separate words. The videos aren't really that good, so if you don't come visit, you're not going to hurt my feelings. And then I'm jumping in on shows all week. I start Monday night with Lock and Load and in Saturday morning here. So just thanks for the invite, and happy to be part of the panel and just sitting out on a back deck with a coffee and my friend Henry, and just
hey,
we're ready.
Can I take it off course for just a minute?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Heard anything from Night Strike or Hatfield?
Night Strike was with us last night on the Trigger Time with Matt, with NEA Matt. He's fine. He was just waiting to see if they would get, because they had an evacuation order, and then it got changed like a couple hours after it was issued or later on in the day. He had already had everything packed up and they're getting ready to jet. And then the evacuation order for the county that he's in and Ellis live in was cleared, was taken away. So they did not have a mandatory evacuation. I know it was going to be hitting, I think, today and tomorrow, but maybe it wasn't going to be as bad as they thought it was going to be. So I think he's staying. He was with us last night. We played until 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. So he hadn't left yet. So I think he's going to be okay.
I hadn't seen anything on gun channels from anybody, so I was just curious.
Well, and again, with the hurricane, there's so many factors in it that it's one of those times. I mean, weathermen are, they're paid to be wrong 50% of the time anyway. But with this, they really had no idea where they knew that specifically this thing was going to go or how long it was going to linger or what it was going to do. I know that I've heard wind speeds around 90 miles an hour, kind of topping out on land. So I don't know what kind of safety they have or what kind of winds they can sustain and say Night Strike's neck of the woods, but I know he had not evacuated yet.
So he's dodged a bullet for the most part.
For right now, yeah.
Us in the Midwest are fortunate that the hurricanes, by the time they get here, they're just rain.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, we got tornadoes to worry about and hail and, some severe thunderstorms and stuff, but it's nothing like something's just going to blow your house over,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what the news says, and they take the picture of the most damaged stuff or the most critically hit. If you live there, man, it's just a day. It's like people in California. Earthquakes are a day-to-day thing. Wildfires are a day-to-day thing. I'm telling you, I used to live out there. We got hurricanes all the time. It's not that bad. It really is. Now, I mean, you want to put your house next to the creek or on the beach. Yeah, If you want to be one of those people to wait to the last minute,
drainage. Yeah.
you want to be the person to wait to the last minute to go to Walmart for plywood and batteries and water and ramen noodles or kerosene or whatever it is. Yeah, you're gonna. So, but that's not to say that. I mean, hurricanes they touch off tornadoes. They're usually not as strong, but there's still a tornado, and you're gonna have that one structure that gets hit hard. I mean, lots of hail. Just you might have the bridge flood out and the power goes out for 3 days is what a lot of people just experience. So if you're used to it, you know what to do to prepare, and there are ways. It's just the news doesn't talk about that. They interview the person who, well, I lived here 40 years. I ain't never seen nothing like this. That's a total lie, dude. You see 4 hurricanes a year. What are you talking about?
The thing that kind of bothered me were these people that were told they had to leave, but they absolutely refused to leave. There were guys that were on the coastline that they were interviewing in the Carolinas, and they're like, "No, I'm going to ride the storm out." I'm like, "Okay, bro, his house is like 50 feet from the ocean." I'm like, "I hope you got a boat, buddy."
There are people that will actually go out there and purposely surf during the hurricane.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah, it's suicidal, but hey, whatever. But like if you've got a house there and you've rode out some storms before and you've made it, like I said, 3 days without power and the bridge floods out, you kind of get used to it and you go, I'm not evacuating all the way to the other end of the state, fighting all that traffic all the way there, and then fighting all the way traffic to get back here. I'll just sit here with no power.
I'm just thinking the storm surge that could put your bottom story underwater and you're stuck upstairs with no food, no power, that's the kind of thing that scares me. Yeah.
That's the thing. When you're looking for a house, I mean, we live near a river and we had a creek in the backyard. But where we were 16 miles inland, and we never had the storm surge come up. I mean, maybe it'd get the people down at the end of the street. Yeah. Well, no, I mean, our river went right out to the ocean. Okay, there were people down the street that their boats were tied up. Their shrimp boats were in their backyard, and they'd go up the river, and then they'd go out shrimping, and so. But it's just. You got to look at the geography, and you also, depending on, a lot of times we'd be in a cinder block house. Cinder block house is going to take a lot more winds than, say, a trailer. So, I mean, you really just have to look at where you're at and how high the ground is, which way the water drains, how far you are from the rivers or any of that stuff. And I'm not saying that there's no way to totally avoid. I mean, you're going to have shingles ripped off, or you could have windows smashed. There's all kinds of things, but it's just if you live there, you get used to it, and it's not as bad as what the news say.
Yeah. The news. I mean, I know they want people to be careful and stuff, and things can change for the worse, but they really do overhype stuff a lot when it comes to weather. I mean, I really think they need to kind of back off a little bit, because then people get in a panic mode, and the next thing you know, the gas stations are out of gas, and then the grocery stores are out of water, and the hardware stores are closing up so employees can leave, and they're leaving, the plywood out in the parking lot and stuff, and not a good situation.
For Christ's sakes, you get a week's fucking notice.
I know, if you know it's going to come in,
yeah,
I would 48 hours before. I would just have a pallet of it in my garage all the time,
Well, part of that, yeah, and that's what you want to do. You always want to make sure you've got kerosene for your lamp, or you've got some water or some canned food or some other stuff that you might use in the event of a power outage to just keep, you fill the bathtub before it makes landfall and things like that. You do that just because tomorrow morning the power might go out. But the thing is, there's so many times that they do these evacuation orders, and then the hurricane changes course, and they rescind the evacuation order. So next time around, the person's going, well, hell, I ain't evacuating because last time I got everything packed up, and then they told me I ain't got to go. So it's either dealing with the mass human exodus, and then having to fight to get back to your own property, or it's they don't know where it's going, and the hurricane, it could park off the coast and sit there. It could make landfall, then turn around, get back out to sea, strengthen, come back in. It just does so many unpredictable things that people just get to a point where it's like, why bother?
Yeah,
honestly. I know that sounds all bad. I know I'm all pessimistic, but it's just, if you live there long enough, it's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, this is true. You just kind of get used to it. I mean, we still have, in our house, we still have adequate water and food. We can go a long time if we had to, but it is, whenever we're going to get a blizzard, you go to Walmart, and again, milk is cleaned out, bread is cleaned out. The bottled water is all gone because people think, what if I lose the electricity now? And it's good people are taking those precautions, but if you would just keep a couple cases of water around and, some basic supplies, you don't have to panic and try to get out there and fight the crowds and try to get out safely, So, yeah, no, I don't know. So, Jim, hey, I don't know if we even got through introducing the panel yet. Jim, what's going on, man? How's it going?
I'm good.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You had a little vacay time with the family, and you're taking some time off from the house, right? From building projects.
Oh yeah, I had to skate out of town for a while and
Good deal.
Explore the state.
All right. Have you had a chance to go to the range at all in the last couple months? You had a chance to run out there and just put a few rounds down range, or not?
Oh yeah, we're still shooting on Thursdays, and
good.
Absolutely. I still need to find an optic.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking to Steven out here in the chat about the primary arms.
Oh, primary
Cyclops.
arms. Yeah, yeah. He said he won that, right? Steve, he said he won a drawing that from primary arms. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was cool. AK Operators Union, the same people I
Oh yeah. Yeah. Is that who he won it through? He won it through AK-47 OU?
Yep.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so he's just a big winner this.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Considering how many people watch those videos and how many subscribers they have and stuff like that, that's not bad.
Right.
Jim, you have any plans to pick up any new firearms in the near future at all? We haven't really had a chance to do a gun chat with you lately. Are you in the market for anything, or anything you gotta have? Anything look just awesome right now?
No, I'm gonna mess up and buy a Kel-Tec Sub 2000 one of these days.
And Matt's got one. He's had good luck with it. Are you going to go in a 9 or 40, or what are you going to go with? They come in 40? I think they do.
They do come in 40.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably just, I don't know. I've got a bunch of Glock magazines, so.
Yeah, it'll make it worthwhile.
Yep.
Cool. All right, well, hey, man, we're glad you're back. But anyway, you just hang in there, man. Keep doing what you got to do. All right, David Bowling's with us. Again, David is man, this is a winning streak now. This is 3 times in a row you've been with us, right? 3 or 4? I'm starting to lose track.
4 in a row.
4. All right. So what's new in your world, man? What's going on? How you doing? Update us on your AR-10 build. You get that started yet?
I've got a couple parts that you sent me, and I got my lower. And right now, I'm having a little bit of trouble deciding on a trigger. The reason being is that I found a couple on a different couple websites, and when I call and ask them, like it's advertised as an AR-15 kit, and then there'll be just the trigger itself, which will say advertised AR-10, AR-15. And when I call customer service, nobody seems to have the answer that will that one that's labeled AR-15 kit fit in the lower for the AR-10.
Now, this could just be this. It should be designed to work with the standard AR lower if it's the correct pattern upper. I have read, and this could just be a marketing ploy, but PSA advises you only buy a PSA AR-10 spec trigger kit, trigger pack. Squib, can you chime in on this? Does it really matter? Maybe it has a more beefed up hammer. Maybe they use a little bit different density in the metal. They can only do so much. If it's going to be a compatible M4 lower, they're going to have the same pins, same springs, same mounting positions for everything. Do you know if there's a difference in AR-10 parts kits for lowers?
On the AR-10, AR-15, I'm not sure. I don't have any experience with the AR-10.
Okay.
I don't see why it couldn't be, because all it's doing is striking the firing pin. But
that's a good point.
All that.
Yeah.
Dimensionally, I don't. If the receiver is taller, maybe you might have to have something different. But I've never assembled an AR-10, so I'm not sure.
Okay, so PSA, just looking at it, they have a PA-10 specific list of parts, and it could be the same as the AR-15. But David, I would say maybe go with the PSA complete lower parts kit for an AR-10, because you can get the buffer tube, the buffer, the spring, the stock, the pistol grip. You can get it in mag pull or standard issue, or I believe, your buffer, maybe your buffer weight and spring are different. We talked about it last week, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but they do have a specific. I know it says that they recommend you go with a specific PA-10 line of lower parts, and it could be this. What I'm seeing for prices looks pretty comparable to the AR-15. I don't think it's a ploy to sell you a more expensive part. Maybe, hey guys out there in the chat on the YouTube or gun channel side, if you guys want to chime in on this. Yeah, AR-10 doesn't really have a mil spec, so every manufacturer can be a little bit different. Black Hat, that's true. Yeah, Yeah. So that's something
this is why I just go, if I want 30 cal, I'm just going 300 blackout. It just makes it easier because I'm not very good at math, and this is like a complicated math problem. So.
Yeah, if you just go with an AR-10 specific lower parts kit, and then you should be fine. I mean, obviously you're gonna have to go through your AR-10, your AR pattern, 308 pattern upper. You want to make sure that it's the what do we call it, the DPMS style, and you should be okay.
Well, that's what I had originally intended to do when I got the PSA lower, was just go PSA all the way, and then I get myself in trouble because I ask too many questions. So asking everybody a million questions has kind of got me sidetracked away from that, and I'm realizing I need to go back to my original plan.
If you buy the wrong stuff, then you're gonna have to send it back. So I would maybe just give PSA a call and just say, what is the real difference? I've read that you should only use parts specific for an AR-10, but then again, you could put an AR-15 lower on your AR-10 upper, and you're going to be fine. So that's a good question.
No, the mags won't fit.
Oh, and that's my friend's getting me magazines today.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, duh. Okay, I'm completely drawn. Yeah, no, you're right about that. That's right. No, it was the parts kit. It was the parts kit. Yeah.
Have you run into this problem with PSA? The pricing is great, but they're always out of stock.
That's the reason that I got so sidetracked, is because when I went on the PSA's website, everything was out of stock. So then I started looking other directions. But Travis told me last week, he said, don't worry about it. They always get stuff back in stock pretty soon. So
check it daily. They'll put stuff out on a daily. So I think they're coming off some of their sales that they've been running. If you just check it, I check it daily. Sometimes you have to wait a month before something comes back in stock, but then they have it. And you can are you signed up for their emails that they send out every day?
Yes.
Okay, just check that, because they should get the parts back in. But then there's some parts that I haven't seen for quite a while. There's been a few uppers that I have not seen back in stock for quite a while. And I don't know if they just give priority to whatever's hot at that time, or they're building up an inventory and so on. So, yeah, also check out Anderson Manufacturing or Aero Precision. You might have some luck there too. DPMS also. Yeah.
Did you see what Patrick said about the DPMS pattern on gun channels over there?
Let's see what he says here. I got to refresh my chat over here. Yeah, I was wrong about the lowers. Obviously, I screwed up about that. But my AR-10 is a DPMS pattern upper and lower, and I can use AR-15 trigger set. Sometimes other manufacturers will be different. Okay. All right. So if you go with the DPMS lower for the AR-10, you can use the AR-15 trigger set, and you're going to be fine. But now, the lower that you
have... How about this?
Yeah.
Okay. Get the parts that you think will work. If they don't work, hold them off to the side and use them for your second build.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so
you're like, oh man, I've got this trigger that don't fit. Guess I'm gonna have to assemble another rifle.
That's the good thing about it, is I don't have a time limit. So if it takes me a while, then it takes me a while. If I get it done quickly, I get it done quickly.
Yeah. I think you would be okay. I think you'd be all right with that. So if you just do the AR-15 trigger pack, you should be fine. Now you said you got a PSA lower, is that right?
Yes.
PSA lower. Okay. I would think if DPMS can use an AR-15, use a 308 DPMS lower, and you've got standard AR-15 trigger kit in it, I would think you'd be okay with PSA. That's one of the problems with the AR-10s, is that each manufacturer kind of has its own specifications. There's some standards they try to adhere to, but there's two different types of uppers out there that lead to different lowers, and a lot of variety in the parts. But if you give DPMS a call too, give them a holler and see what they say. I mean, they might have decent customer service where you could chat with somebody, because they basically invented that pattern of LR308. So
yeah, by the end of this week, I'll have my trigger kit, and a friend of mine's going to a gun show in Pennsylvania today, and he's going to pick me up a couple magazines.
Nice. Good. Cool, man. Oh, hey, Ghost is in the house. Ghost, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, I'm just at work, but it's a slow morning, so I thought I'd jump in for a little bit. Thanks for having me, bud.
Hey, so what's new in your world, man? What's coming up on your channel? What can we expect to see?
Man, it's getting ready for me. I know a lot of people, don't really do a lot during the summer because of range days, so it being hot. So for me, a lot of range videos, a lot of range drills. I've got the new podcast, the Armed Citizen podcast. We're going to kind of a one-on-one interview style. I've got 3 or 4 of those already pre-recorded, just trying to figure out which one to release next and all that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
When is that on, and where can we find it?
It's on. Well, I put the first episode out as an audio file over on YouTube, but it's going to be on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Stitcher, Spreaker, basically all the podcast services.
Okay, and you want to do that weekly?
It's going to be by was it? I don't know. What called?
Every
Twice a
week.
month. How about that?
Twice a
Bi-weekly.
month. Yeah,
Yeah,
bi-weekly.
bi-weekly.
Is that
Yeah.
twice a week? I don't
Bi-monthly.
know.
See, in my
Bi-monthly.
mind, bi-weekly means twice a week, but
See?
then I eat crayons, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Hey, I listened
well,
to the interview with Patriot in the Dark. It's good stuff, man.
yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. You know, I'm trying to bring different perspectives as of what an armed citizen means to different people, and I'll have industry people, I'll have all sorts of different people. So it means something different to everybody, you know.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, hey, glad to have you here. If you get busy and you got a jet, we get it. Otherwise, feel free to contribute to the topics for today.
I
We got a
hope
lot
I
of
can
fun stuff we're
contribute.
going to talk about. We got a lot of fun stuff. A lot of hypothetical chat going on too. We're going to have some fun with it here. So, all right, I think that's everybody that. Oh, Sandhills is with us. Hey, Sandhills, what's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
I am good. Sorry I'm late. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, all right, man. So, hey, what can we find on your channel? What do you got coming up? What do you got in the works? You got a new podcast too, right?
I'm planning on one. Yeah, I wasn't able to start it last week because I was about
You didn't
20
go see
feet.
Metallica.
Man, I was about 20 feet from the stage. It
Isn't
was
that
good
awesome?
time.
Isn't that cool to let you get that close and stuff? Man, their shows are awesome.
That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I wasn't able to start it last week, but we are planning on firing that up 9 o'clock Central Time Tuesday night. We're going to
Cool.
call it 2A Tuesday.
Okay.
And I think general consensus is the first night we're going to have a deer hunting chat. That's kind of what we were talking about last week a little bit on Caliber Corner. So I'll go ahead and start the first week off with that. And then I'm getting lots of good ideas. I've had a couple people email me lots of good stuff as far as different ideas. So I'll go through and just kind of compile a list. And as we go from week to week, I'll just kind of maybe take topics off of that list, and we'll get through maybe 2 or 3, maybe just one in a given night. But
Okay.
we'll just kind of see where it goes. So
In the pre-chat before you showed up, we were talking about I've gotten a lot of requests now to do a deer hunting chat. So are you going to do yours on Tuesday?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep. You
cool.
wanna be
Start
part
it
of
up. We can make some. I should be around. Go ahead and just send me a text and remind me I should be here. Yeah, we can do that, and then we're going to talk about it next week on Caliber Corner too. So it'll give me some really good ideas for stuff. I'm going to make some notes about what we talk about, so I don't miss anything, and we should be good otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will try, as long as Night Strike sends me a link, I will try to be part of Hit or Miss before that too, as long as I can. So hopefully I'll be able to get my chat set up and then just go be on Hit or Miss, and then all I have to do is just go send links out. So.
Yeah, so just a reminder, guys, those of you listening to this podcast, everybody here on the panel's got really good channels with a lot of cool content. So go check them out, subscribe. You can follow them. There's a lot of good stuff you can learn from, a lot of good podcasts if you just want something to listen to, because there isn't much good out there to listen to these days anyway, so you might as well listen to something you're going to like. And, it'll definitely take care of you. So cool. Yeah, so deer chat's coming up, guys. If you're a deer hunter, you want to get some information or you want to get into it, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Again, we're going to focus on our firearm primarily. I mean, I'm not a bow hunter and I'm not a crossbow hunter, but I have a little bit of experience with it, but not a lot. But we're just going to focus on the firearm aspect of deer hunting, whether it's slug hunting or long gun rifle hunting and so on. So,
well,
all right, yo.
And I tell you what, as far as my chat Tuesday night, I'm the same way. I'm not an archer, and I have no experience with black powder. But I tell you what, anybody who does have experience with those things that wants to be on the panel, I clearly, obviously, I'm not the only one that knows stuff. So if people have questions for somebody about archery hunting, I'd love to have someone there that can answer those questions too. So I'm always looking for people who can contribute and get some good info out there. And you can focus mostly on the firearms part. I'll focus on, I'm more kind of about the deer part, the tactics, deer behavior, that kind of spills over into no matter what your weapon of choice is for hunting. So we'll talk about that a lot too, not just about the hunting part, but about the deer part.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Right,
Good deal.
I'm headed to work too, Travis, so I may or may not be around to contribute, but I got you on.
No problem, man. Thank you so much. A few more people joined in over on the YouTube side. Clover Tax over there. Sketchy Rolls with us right now too. And Grim 90's out there. Hey, Grim, what's going on, buddy? And yeah, a few more people joining in. That's always good. Black Cat Outdoors. All right, so let's go ahead and get this party started. So the first topic that we have is going to be a bug out situation, SHTF situation. You can only take 3 guns. Let's pretend that you have a mode of transport to get to your bug out location, or you just simply need to leave. You've got a vehicle to transport, so you can take some ammo with you, some basic supplies. Again, these are all viewer requests. What would be the top 3 firearms that you would take with you and why? And again, you know, it could be kind of interesting to see where this goes, or it could be the same all the way across the board. So just think about top 3 guns. What specifically would you take? And they need to be firearms that you own, that you have some experience with, because this would be a situation where you got to grab these and you got to go. All right, so David, we're going to start off with you. What are your top 3 firearms you take with you in an SHTF bug out gun loadout situation?
Well, first, I'm definitely taking my AR, the 5.56, that's for sure. And the debate that I would have for, I also have a 223 bolt action. It's either take 2 rifles or the AR and 2 pistols. So I guess I would have to go with the AR-15, my 223 bolt action, and if it's you know, bad times are showing up, I'll take my SIG P320. That's 45 ACP.
Oh, okay, cool. You know, the AR-15 is not a bad choice just because of parts compatibility with just the sheer number of ARs in this country. Ammo, the fact you can go 223 Remington or 5.56 NATO. Accessories, magazine compatibility, parts compatibility with other people you might meet up with. I would just say now these days if something happened, there'd be a pretty good chance you'd run into somebody else with an AR-15. I mean, I don't want to make any assumptions here, but just looking at the sheer number of ARs out there and what people buy and what people have. I mean, a lot of people just have an AR, you know? So that would not be a bad situation. And then you said the P320. You would take that over your 9mm?
Well, that's the problem. If I've got to, like, for instance, if I'm evacuating from the storm, I'd probably take the Security 9.
Yeah.
But if the zombies are coming down the street, I'm going with the 45.
Just sheer impact power, right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Now, the only thing you got to watch out for with that bolt action is the bolt action 223 also chambered for 5.56 NATO or not? Because
No,
you wouldn't want to run those. You'd have to make sure you have only the 220. So if you find a cache of ammo, you find a pile of ammo somewhere, right? You'd want to make sure that you'd have to know if it's going to be the 5.56 or 223 load, so you don't cause any damage to your bolt action.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason that I go with the bolt action is if I can get you from far away, I'd rather do that. Yeah. I don't really need to wait till you get close.
And we've had A-Wagon here before, and he's taken his 223 AR out to, I want to say 500 yards or something like that. I mean, the guy, and I know that's not unheard of. You know, a lot of guys are really good shots with their AR. But definitely that'd be, and plus you got the ammo compatibility between the 2 rifles. And if you have your own ammo cache, you got a bunch of 223 Remington, not going to be a problem. It's going to work out well for you.
Well, yeah, if I'm standing on my deck, I want the bolt action to, you know, keep people as far away as I can.
Oh yeah.
Then when they get close, the AR, mine's a little bit heavier than most. It's probably 8 or 9 pounds. But it's small. It's easy to hold. It's easy to operate. I can get away with it in my hands if I have to. You know, so that's why I would go with that. And then also, you know, I can touch you from far away with it.
Yeah, and and if you had to take some sort of a position where you had to defend yourself, or you wanted to go conceal yourself, or you needed to get out there, or maybe you have a nice overlook area where you've got a long distance all the way around you to scope, you know, you can see what's out there, then yeah, that would definitely be a much more accurate shot.
The 30-round magazine, you know, you always have suppression fire as well.
This is true. All right, good choices. For these, I'm not going to write them down because we're all going to have so much variety all the way through that okay, Ghost, let's move on to you, man. What would be your top 3 guns to take with you in a bug out SHTF situation? You got to leave. You don't know when you can come back.
No, I'm good. Top 3 guns that I'd take in a shit at the fan. I'm going to say my Beretta 92, my Beretta CX4 Storm, and my AK pistol, and here's why. With the CX4 Storm and the 92, they share mags and they share 9mm ammo, so I can stockpile on that. With my AK pistol, the 30-round mag, obviously the capacity's nice. I've got a ton of 7.62 by 39 ammunition, and the AK pistol is small enough and light enough where it's not going to get in the way if I'm having to sling it or whatever. And the AK platform is pretty reliable. It's not going to, you can get it dirty, you can get it all sort, bang it, and it's going to still run. So not a whole lot of moving parts in there. So I'm going to go with those three.
So you would take the AK pistol over the AR pistol just for sheer durability, right? Just the fact
Sheer
that you
durability.
can drop it, not worry about
I can do whatever I need to do. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now your PX4 Storm, is it a more compact model? Would it be easier for you to conceal? Like if you had to go out?
This is the CX4 Storm, the carbine.
I'm sorry.
So I'm getting the carbine and I'm getting the CX4, the carbine, and the 92. So they share mags and share ammo. So I'm getting the carbine.
Cool.
I'm getting a handgun and I'm getting the AK platform.
I see a lot of questions sometimes. I'll watch those 9mm carbine videos. I'll say, why would you even bother? Why not just get your handgun? Well, you would think your shot accuracy is going to be better. You're going to have better performance from your ammunition with a longer barrel. You might be less likely to just, you'd be more accurate with your ammo. You're going to waste less ammo if you can put your first shot on target and they're further away than with the handgun. Optic possibility, some sort of a dot sight or scope or. Yeah.
Well, I have a red dot on mine right now. And like I said, and if you're also thinking about possibly having other people with you, and it might be your wife or your kids or something that may not be the strongest, a 9mm carbine is gonna absorb a lot of the impact for it. So it'll be a little bit easier for them to maybe handle a 9mm carbine versus an AR.
How far have you taken that carbine out? What have you taken it out to 300 yards?
I've taken it to 250 yards, and it's not. I would say 150, 200 to the max. 250. It was sketchy.
You're gonna start getting some significant bullet drop. What do you run for ammo? Do you do a 127 or a 115? What are you running?
I run on that for the carbine. I'll try to run 147. Just to get a little bit more oomph to it. Obviously, I'm not trying to reach out and touch someone from a far distance, so I'm not necessarily worried with that one on reach. It's gonna be more worried about. I'm trying to get a little more oomph to it. Now I could go down to 115. Now normally I use for my handgun I use 124. So in that situation, I'm probably going 124 grain because that's what I usually run in my pistol. So
cool. And I think Classic Firearms had some package deals going on with those Berettas. They were selling them with extra mags and like a case and some accessories. They had police trade-ins, and I don't know where they got them from, but they were a really good deal. I want to say they were like $400 or $450. They were a couple hundred less than the retail price. I remember seeing that a couple months ago. They might even, you guys check on Classic over there. You might see if they still have them listed. They might still carry them.
And if you like that, they also they have the extended mag. I think it goes to like 20 round mag. That you can get that it will run in the 92 and in the PX4, the carbine. So in that situation, I've got several of those 20 round mags as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just checking over on Classic real quick. So, the idea of having the mag interchangeability, the ammo interchangeability, a lot of times you might just think, well, I want this gun, and this gun, and it's all that I need. But there might be, you might need something that's going to have a little more flexibility, especially if it's going to be you down to your last rounds and your last accessories. You might not have an option. So, all right. Good choices, man. Cool. Let's see. Jim, what about you? What would you take with you?
Out of what I've got?
Yeah.
I would probably take the Glock 22 because I shoot with it an awful lot and I can carry it. And then to keep it common, I would take the Wasser and the SKS. And the reason I would take the SKS is because it's common ammo and there's no magazine to lose.
Okay. That's true. You don't have to worry about it. You just load the rounds in and fire if you need to, and then common ammunition. Right. And again, you were talking in the pre-chat about looking at a Kel-Tec sub 2000.
Yeah, actually, I would have to play with that thing to know if I would take it for a anything other than a range toy, because I don't know how they stack up as far as
durability,
SHTF durability goes.
Yeah. I have never seen any long-term durability tests on those. A lot of people rip on Kel-Tec guns. I don't know if they're going to be necessarily something you want for like long-term, urban combat or CQB and stuff like that. But anything Kel-Tec I've ever fired has been fine. I mean, they are polymer and glue, and they are screwed together. I mean, they do. I don't want to say they look like a toy, but they kind of have their own style to them. But I've never seen any long-term tests on a sub 2000 to know. But if you got the sub 2040, you'd be able to use those Glock 22 mags, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry. This is going to be an expensive weekend for you. I apologize for just putting that out there. Tell the wife that you said you have to go buy one. Okay, it's part. You want to stay in the club, you have to go pick one up.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So good choices all the way around. All right. Sand Hills, what would you do, man? What would you take with you? Oh, I think he was heading off to work, so we'll see if he can join us. There he is. All right.
Just
Cool.
couldn't find my mute button.
No, it's all good, bud. Yeah.
Is this hypothetical guns to take with, or out of what I've got?
Out of what you got. You got say a couple hours to get your stuff together and get out of town, go someplace isolated. You may not be able to come back. What are you going to take with you?
Well, I'm going to cheat because I don't really have much to take with me. So there's going to be a pump action 22 rifle.
Oh, okay.
There's going to be, at this point, there's going to be a bolt action 243.
Okay.
Because the 270 has got no iron sights, nor is it scoped yet. So that's not going to do us any good. So the 243 is going to go. Plus, I've got ammo for that on hand. I haven't bought any 270s. I've just got maybe a dozen rounds laying around the house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to take my my Glock 19 with me. If I can pick up some Glock 17 mags along the way, or maybe some fun sticks. I mean, they'll still work in that gun. But when I said I'm going to cheat, I'm not leaving the shield home. That's coming too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So chances are it's not just going to be me; it's going to be my wife. So this way, we both have something that we can tote on our person if we need to, and then we each have a long gun that we can carry along with whatever else is in the back. So
the wife gets to take 3 too. I need to change up my list.
Well, we could make an amendment to that and go back and run it through again. The wife or significant other, sure. Chances are we're going to hand 3 off to them. Here, put this belt and put the sling on and go take that out to the car. That's your loadout. So
does anybody have a good takedown rifle that they can put in the wife's backpack?
Yeah, there you go. I got that Midland single action or single shot break action shotgun that folds in half. You can throw it in your backpack. It's actually really cool, and you can just clip it back together.
I will say this though, that one of the next things on the list to pick up is a good shotgun for home defense, not a 28-inch barrel, something with 20 inches or less on the barrel. Just to have downstairs in the house for whatever might happen. And so my ideal addition, the only thing I would ideally add to that loadout would be a pump action 12 gauge. And a good, an 870 or a Mossberg 500, something that's been tried and true. And that even if it gets a little dirty or you don't have cleaning supplies with you for, weeks on end, it's still going to run.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it just kind of depends on the situation and how much time you think you would have to get to the weapons you need and so on. A suggestion for the shotgun, if you don't want to break the bank, for years, I had an H&R partnered pump, and I know they're made in China by Hawk Firearms, but man, that thing is a friggin' tank. With my buddies messing around, we used it for shooting skeet. I've used it just for playing around. I mean, it'll shoot up to a 3-inch round. It doesn't do 3.5-inch Magnum rounds, but they're like a sub $200 pump action at Walmart, and they come in 2 different barrel lengths. And I had the shorter barrel length. That with your double-aught buck, your military-grade buck in there, and then a nice shell holder on the stock, and then put a 2-point sling on there. I mean, that thing's got some weight to it too. I mean, again, I know it's not American made, but that thing is built like a friggin' tank. And it shares some parts compatibility with either Remington or Mossberg. There's some stuff like you can replace the pump on it, you can replace the bars, you can replace quite a few parts on it. And so that's a really nice little shotgun to pick up for home defense. I actually sold that and bought the Maverick 88, but at some point I may pick another one of those partner pumps up. The finishes are nothing to write home about, but they are neat little shotguns to have. Hey, Clover did chime in about the sub 2000. He says he's had a sub 2040 for about 2 years, and he also had a 9mm for probably 10 years. No issues. Sights are a bit junky. So other than just the sights on it, and I don't know if there's any options to put any kind of red dot on that, if there's any kind of a rail, but at least it'd be a starting place. So there you go, Jim. It's even more of an excuse to go pick one up this weekend.
Yep.
It's great when it's other people's money.
I think Classic Firearms is saying they have them in stock right now.
How much are they? Are they $400?
$379 to $399. I'm looking at one. I'm looking at this one right now. Let's see if it's in stock.
Yeah.
Is it in stock? Nope. Darn. They're never in stock.
Well, if you look around, you can probably find one. You might be. I know they pop up on PSA from time to time too. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you were talking earlier about finding something that you could put inside a backpack, or someone was bringing that up.
Yeah,
a simple AR. A simple that would, but a simple AR. I mean, if you're proficient enough and you do it enough times, take it apart, put the upper and the lower in a backpack, and pull it out. I mean, it didn't take long to get it back ready to go.
Well, go with I don't know how reliable they're, but it's just get yourself an AR with like an 8.5-inch barrel or like a 7-inch barrel,
or a pistol or something. Yeah,
that thing would
be great.
Would collapse down that you could toss it in most backpacks. If not a hiking backpack, it would just fit right in there.
And that's one of the reasons why I picked the AK pistol, because it's right there. You know.
Yeah, they're very. Now, which one do you have? Do you have the NPAP or do you have the Yugo?
I've got the Stava M92.
Okay. And yours has the SIG brace on it?
It has a SIG brace on it, yeah. I'm getting ready to probably get a different brace, but right now it's got a SIG brace on it.
Yeah, there's a lot of options now for the braces too, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's a great thing, yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so Squib, what about you? What would you take for you? The 3 guns you take with you in a bug-out SHTF situation?
Well, I'm sure that somebody's going to say that my plan has got flaws because I don't have ammunition compatibility, and that's true. In an ideal situation, you want everybody having the same caliber, parts interchangeability, that sort of thing. But hey, whatever. So I'm going to take this, the M1 Garand. All right, that's going to be what I primarily carry. Some people might say it's heavy, it doesn't have capacity, whatever it is. I want something that I can reach out and touch someone if I have to, or use up close if I have to, and I want something that's going to hit the target when I aim at it. So
are you talking fixed bayonet?
You know, and that is something for that. I do have the option to put a bayonet on it. I do not have a bayonet for it. I am a slacker, and I'm going to receive a few demerits for that. But yeah, I would definitely carry the bayonet on my cartridge belt in a scabbard for that in case I had to. It'd be the same thing with any of the ARs we've got. I think all but one has a bayonet lug, so that would be a backup situation. If it got down to that, well, you know how it is, Ghost. When you get down to that, it's bad. So
yeah, someone's gone wrong, but at least you have something.
Yeah. And then I would have the Mossberg 835 pump action 12 gauge. It's got some decent sights on it. A shotgun has that general purpose kind of a use. As far as, you can go out to 100 yards with it. I mean, technically speaking, you could go out a little bit further than that, but I wouldn't trust it over 100 yards. Maybe I should say trust myself with it. So it's going to be kind of up close, but it's going to have that scattergun type effect, or it's just, I'm using buckshot mostly. I'm ready for the zombies. So got plenty of buckshot. So maybe even some hog hammers, something like that. Hornady's got a critical defense for it. So yeah, it would be the Mossberg 835 with buckshot, and then for my sidearm, it's going to be the SR 1911. So, and I know some people go, well, what about capacity? What about capacity? Once again, I'm going with something that when I pointed at something, I'm going to hit. I love my M9, but I can tell you, since 1993, I haven't been able to hit the broadside of a barn with that thing. And I know it ain't the gun, it's me. But even though I'm not very accurate with it, it's got capacity. And it's very ergonomic, very easy to clean and maintain, and it's very user-friendly. I want something that I'm going to be more accurate with the 1911, just for me. If I had like a Super Red Hawk, I'd probably take that. I know that's even harder to find ammunition for on the road and whatnot than 45 ACP, but I'd be even more accurate with that than with this. So that's what I'm looking for. And I got to tell you, if we all grabbed 3 guns, well, the kids and the wife would only have a rifle and a sidearm each. We would have probably 6 or 7 different calibers between the 4 of us. It would be a logistics nightmare.
Yeah. So if you can try to, and that'd be another thing to consider too, is if the family would need to bail, or if the family would need to defend the house, you know, how many different calibers you would really want to try to mess around with in a situation like that? Wouldn't you rather have a little more, you know, a little bit more of a standard all the way across the board for your home defense setup and your family's defense setup?
And see, in a bug out situation, we may be walking railroad tracks for 4 or 5 days to get to where we're at.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to purposely take my family into harm's way where we've got to fight our way in and fight our way out. I'm not saying that that might not happen, but I'm going to try to avoid as often, you know, that the whole, not escape and evasion, but I guess just evasion, whenever possible. And then if we do get into that, my thinking is I want everybody to be using something that they're comfortable with, that they're familiar with, that they prefer, over something that, yeah, it's all compatible, but I can't stand shooting this thing. Because if they're not putting rounds on target, it's not going to help. I mean, but, you know, once again, you bounce back to that whole logistical thing, and it's like, you know, the mags from your gun won't fit the mags from my gun, or the ammo for yours don't fit mine, or now I'm carrying 3 different calibers in my Alice pack, and then that's taking up a lot of space, and it's got a lot of weight, but I'm thinking for the possibility of an engagement, I'd rather us put less ammo downrange with more accuracy than deal with the logistics. But the logistic thing is probably more logical, more rational.
Yeah.
Well, it is better to hit them one time with 45 ACP than miss them 15 times.
This is a good point.
And Tony, honestly, if I had a Super Red Hawk or a Black Hawk in 44 Magnum, I would carry that because I would be better with that than I would be with the 1911, as much as I love 1911s. And if I did that, then I might go the compatibility route, and instead of carrying the shotgun, carry the Henry. And now I've got a carbine and a sidearm that both use the same ammunition.
You just answered what I'm going to do, pretty much.
Sorry about that.
Oh, hey, real quick from the chat over on the YouTube side here, Cadillac Jack says an H&R 12 gauge single shot with a 22 and 410 45 adapters, AR-15 5.56 with a 300 blackout upper. I guess we didn't mention you could grab another upper on the way out if you want to. Grab another box of ammo for that upper, and a GP100 and 357 Magnum. That is a nice setup. I like that. Oh man, good stuff. All right, so Tony, let's move on to you. What are the 3 guns that you would recommend?
Well, it depends on what I'm looking at, but general purposes, I'm going to grab the 44 Magnum Marlin 94, the Smith & Wesson 629, and my Marlin 981 22 rifle. Just for ammo compatibility, I'm going to take 2 44s, and for keeping the family fed, the 22.
Yeah, that's another one too, is if you need some sort of a gun to go out there and harvest some game with, or small game that's going to be easy and lightweight to transport, and you can take a ton of ammo with you without taking too much weight with you at the same time, you know. A couple boxes of 500.
It will do headshots at a couple hundred yards. That's not an issue with the gun.
Okay. Cool. Good choices, man. Yeah, the 44 mag, you definitely, no doubt, you got the takedown power you're going to need there in a situation like that.
But if it's one of those where you got to fight your way through things, I don't know. I might swap out the 44 lever for the 45-70.
Yeah. All right.
See, I look at the bug out from the situation of I'm going to try to drive out of here in my truck, but what if the truck breaks down? What if we get to something we can't get through? What if there's just the roads are clogged and I'm looking out on the highway and I'm going, we're just start walking now. So at some point, there's a good chance we could be on foot. So I need to have so that we can travel on foot. But I don't live in an area where I may have to fight my way out of town just to get out of town. Somebody else might live in an even more urban area, or maybe a more, I don't want to say crime ridden, but I mean, that's kind of what I'm going at is you know, the gangs are now definitely out for sure, because now there's no law to stop them at all. And they may walk out their front door and initially get right into a gun battle just trying to get on the road. So I guess based on your situation, that's why you might want something where accuracy isn't really as much, or comfort, or whatever you want to call it, familiarity isn't an issue with you as much as it is just sustained fire, because maybe you're not very, very accurate with it, or maybe you need more lead in the air to just keep people's heads down, just so you can get the heck out of there. You're not worried about taking them out as much as getting them to get out of your way so you can get going.
Yeah.
One of the things, it depends if it's a complete fiasco, like everything's gone wrong. It's you're on your own, nobody's here to help you. The most dangerous place to be is in a traffic jam. I wouldn't get in my car. I'd get out of my car as soon as possible and walk through the woods, walk through the least available path possible. Squib had mentioned walking down the train tracks. In my mind, that's where I'm going to go. If I'm going to rob somebody, I'm going to go to a train tracks, because that's what, John Q. Public is going to travel. So as soon as he comes around and comes down to the tunnel, I'm going to take everything he's got. Same thing with getting in the traffic jam. You may or may not be able to get out of your neighborhood, but when you get to the closest highway, you're not driving. If everybody's getting out and everybody's in their car, when you get to the next closest highway, it's a dead stop. And right there is where a lot of the violence is going to occur. I don't want to be anywhere around that. I want to go where the masses are not going.
Well, masses here in the town I live in, there's probably 500-600 cars, most.
Right, but
I live in rural America, man.
Not far from there, you're going to find a major highway, which everybody's trying to get on.
Or an interstate or an on-ramp.
And I understand out in Nebraska, it's different. I live in the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. There's traffic right now. It's impossible to drive through right now. And if things went crazy, you're not getting anywhere in your vehicle around here.
Yeah, it depends on the person and your situation and your city and
I suppose my point with the small town thing is that I ain't going nowhere. I absolutely do not intend to bug out.
Yeah,
Well,
we
that
talk
brings a
about
whole
this on
different-
Lock and. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Squib. Go ahead.
Well, we talk about this on Lock and Load a lot because Hawaii Volcano's plan is to bug out right away under most circumstances, and he's going into the jungle up on the volcano. And I understand, okay, where you live and your city and the circumstances and blah, 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 your conditions, that'll work fine. But every time I try to explain to him that my first thing is to bug in. If I bug out, it's probably going to be 2 weeks into this thing, or it's going to be that sort of. He doesn't. We go round and round with it, and we're not really arguing. We're giving each other a hard time or bickering a little bit. But he doesn't get it because he keeps looking at it from his standpoint, and his circumstance is way, way different than mine. So you got to kind of look at the terrain, or are you urban? Are you rural? Do you have resources at home? Where I'm at, I'm not really so much worried about marauders and things like that, even though I live in a city or township, whatever you want to call it. And there's plenty of people with guns, and there's plenty of law enforcement and veterans and people that think that they're some sort of, I don't know, Rambo or whatever. But there's also there's also plenty of people that have no way to defend themselves and have no idea how to do anything without a cell phone. And
that's true.
I'm thinking, in a matter of a couple weeks, the biggest problem is going to be the smell of all the dead bodies. That'll drive me out of here more than anything else, because all these people are going to be killing over as soon as they can't get their, cable TV and cold beer. And the railroad tracks for me is kind of a stopgap, because ideally walking the highways to get to where I'm trying to get to is the fastest, most expedient method, but there's going to be more people out on the highway, or more people looking for victims on the highway, than they are going to be looking on the railroads. That's not to say that somebody wouldn't, especially if they've got like my house, the railroad track's in my backyard, right? So if somebody was out in the country and they had a railroad track in their backyard and they were just waiting for somebody from the city to come walking by so they could rob them, yeah, they can ambush and all this other stuff. But there will be some people, I think, that would get on the tracks to start walking somewhere, but I don't think it'll be as crowded around here as the highway. So for my situation, that's why I would go, whereas, David, you're because you're closer to bigger metropolitan. I mean, the whole Washington, D.C., Baltimore thing is massive. you've got to kind of look at it from a different standpoint where you're at. So, and just like Hawaii's got to look at it different being on the island, and there's no way off the island. And so it's kind of interesting how our choice in firearms or our decision to bug in or bug out is totally based on that. But it is kind of fun to discuss.
Well, again, it's just a let's pretend you have to leave. It's time to go. You got to go. What are you going to take with you? Maybe you'll come back. Maybe you won't. Again, it's just a hypothetical. You know, what would you do? And it's kind of a. I like this chat. I like this discussion because it's a bit of a wake up call for people. If all they have is a handgun, you might want to think, well, maybe I should invest in a rifle. Maybe I should just get myself an inexpensive shotgun. You know, it's kind of the idea behind it, just to kind of let. And again, it was just a good request from somebody and something to think about. You know. So
well, here's something to think about also, real quick, Travis, if you don't mind, is we've got people in a different kind of, you know, SHTF situation right now on the East Coast. Yeah. Some people are having to leave their homes right now, and they don't know right now if they come back, if their house is going to be there. Mm-hmm. So what if they have to survive? It sounds crazy, and it probably won't have to happen, but what if they have to survive out in the wilderness for a little while? And that's why I kind of dig what Tony was saying, little 22, if for no other reason, you can throw a brick of 22 in a backpack very easily.
Yeah.
And you can use it to survive with food if you had to.
Yeah, you can shoot a bird. You can shoot a bird or a squirrel with a 22. If you shoot a bird with your 50 cal, then there's nothing but feathers left.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Poof.
You know.
Yeah.
If I come to a situation where I had to bug out, and I mean I had to, there wasn't going to be no 3. I'm taking every freaking gun I own. Period.
Well, I think we all would, but just for discussion purposes, this is what makes it fun. You can only choose 3.
Let me hook up the trailer.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you're not going to fit all that in the back of a Suburban.
I gotta. Yes, I am.
Can I make one change to my list?
Go ahead, David. Yeah, you have time. You have 24 hours, so.
I want to go ahead and I'm going to put the AR back. I'm going to take my gun that has the flex seal in it, because you never know when you might come across the screen door and you can turn it into a boat.
True. Yes, exactly. Might have to float your way out.
But you can keep your AR and take flex tape.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can enough flex tape and anything's possible, right? For me, I would have to say that I would just take a pump action 12 gauge shotgun. I'd probably take the Maverick 88 SP just because of the capacity. 12 gauge, you know, I've got a lot of different loads you could take. You could potentially run some slug through it if you needed to. Bird shot for hunting, you know, maybe take some more powerful loads for you for possibly deer, like a double-aught buck and so on. I do have a Mossberg 835 that I absolutely love. I've had that for a long time. That'll shoot up to 3.5-inch Magnum rounds, again, pump action. I don't think I'd want to go the semi-auto route. I'd be worried about having to keep that thing clean and worry about it, especially if it gets dirty or if you're really out in the conditions and you can't take it apart to clean it. So I'd stick with the pump action 12 gauge. Second on my list was just one of my AR-15s, either my Bear Creek Arsenal AR or just my PSA. These are both reliable guns. The other one's locked up. Shoot well, reliable, no issues. I shoot steel case ammo through the Bear Creek Arsenal AR all the time, and I never had a problem with it. I put over 1,000 rounds of steel case through that AR-15, and it's been solid. I know how it shoots. I know the trigger. I'm comfortable with it. So I have to go with the AR. I guess I would love to take the MD63. I like the AK platform for just the sheer durability of it. And now, you know, AK-47s are so much more popular. A lot of guys that have AR-15s have an AK-47. Long term, I'd be maybe thinking parts, ammo. If I needed something, say I needed a firing pin or something, would I be more likely to find it? If I had an AR-15, just true long-term, bug out situation, I'd go with an AR-15. Although in terms of durability, Ghost, like you said, you know, you can't beat the durability of an AK-47. I'd maybe take an AK-47 and an AR-15 and a handgun, right? But I would take my AR-15, the 12-gauge shotgun, and then just my Glock 17, just because it's powerful enough to do what it needs to do. You could potentially hunt with it. You can conceal it easily. Magazine interchangeability would be nice too. Parts interchangeability would be nice, whether you like Glocks or not. I mean, you can't argue with the fact that, you know, it's almost like Legos. Stuff just goes from one gun to the next, and it all just fits together. Magazines, ammunition, just a 9mm. And I'm not against taking a larger caliber, but, you know, you start to run into weight considerations and availability of that ammo. Is it going to be out there if you're looking for it? You know, as much as I love, I think it's what the Glock 34 and 357 SIG. I'd love to have one of those. I mean, ammunition for 357 SIG might be impossible to find in a bug out situation, or it might be the only thing you find on the shelves in that sporting goods store when you go in there to get ammo because nobody else buys it. So I don't know. It could be a little reverse psychology there. So that's what I would go with.
That's kind of one of the reasons why I lean to the 44 Magnum because of weight.
Okay.
The guns are heavy, but the ammo is lighter than your AR ammo.
No, this is true. This is true. Plus, you've got your compatibility with your rifle too.
And that's what I was thinking. If weight was no object, I'd take the damn 45-70.
True. Yeah. Not a bad suggestion.
The gun is heavy, and the ammo is really heavy.
And that too is another situational thing, I think, as well, because I hear people bellyache about weight all the time.
Yeah.
And weight was never an issue for me. And now, granted, I used to hump around a machine gun when I was younger. So I, young and strong and not thinking about it. I'm older now. Things hurt. But even then, carrying around an M1 Garand and 30-06 ammo, it's going to be heavy. It's going to be uncomfortable. But I've got that peace of mind. And if I'm that out of shape or whatever it is, then yeah, I'd probably go with something lighter or that sort of thing. But for me right now, still carrying around something heavy is not out of the realm of possibility. But I hear just on a lot of videos, the whole ounces is pounds and pounds is pain, and it's like, oh geez, get a gym membership, dude. But
you're also thinking, are you going to be bugging in or bugging out? Also, if you're bugging out, you might be a little more modular, a little more lightweight. But if you're bugging in, the weight's not going to matter because you're going to have different fields of fire set up and around your perimeter. You're not going anywhere. So yeah.
Well, no, I've had some people say, that 30-06 is going to be heavy. It's going to be. It's like, yeah, it is. I'm not so dumb that I don't realize that. But you just hear that. Okay, so somebody comes on to YouTube, does a video. They're all tactical, and they're a self-proclaimed internet expert. And before you know it, it's an echo chamber, and everybody starts parroting it. It's just like if you come on and you get a lot of views and you look a certain way, somebody else copies your look or whatever it is on their channel, so they hopefully they get the views too. So what I'm saying is, even though weight is a consideration, I'm more worried about how much any water I'm carrying is weighing me down before I'm thinking about the ammo or the rifle or something like that. But it's
the rifle doesn't. The weight of the rifle doesn't matter so much if you got sling. I mean, you pack pretty heavy thing on your shoulder.
Correct.
You also have to consider if you have a destination. If you know where you're going and say it's a 20-mile walk, you can consider what you're going to carry or not. If you're just getting out and you don't know when you're going, where you're going, or how you're going, you're just going, then you might want to also consider the weight of the stuff that you're bringing. If you're going to be walking for the next 6 months, you don't want to carry your bowling ball with you.
If you've got good load-bearing equipment, if you can put weight in your pack, and you're going to feel the weight, but you're going to have it more on your shoulders than on your lower back. If you have a sling for your rifle, if you've got a decent belt and holster for your sidearm, that sort of thing. If you spread out the weight, it'll save you some misery. It's not going to be perfect. No matter what you do, you're eventually going to get tired. Your arms are going to get tired, whatever it is. But that's just it. I mean, Tony brought up a thing about the sling. There's lots of guys that have got rifles and don't have slings. I go to the gun range all the time, and I see them, and they're all up, and I'm like the only guy there with a sling, and it's just because that's what I was trained with as far as holding it and keeping it steady. Plus, I do like the ability to be able to sling it over my shoulder. Now, you don't have to go get a sling, but it's something to consider for a bug out situation. Is just being able. You're not always going to be at the tactical low ready. It's not always going to be a thing. And when your arms start to get tired, if you can sling that rifle, you can rest your arms a little bit.
And slings are a big thing also, because you also have to remember, when you're going and you're bugging out, you're not just grabbing your weapons and going. You're grabbing canned food. You're grabbing water bottles. You're going to be carrying in your hands anything and everything that you can't fit in your bag. And you might have to have a sling because, like you said, you're not going to be carrying the low ready everywhere you go. You're going to have other things in your hands.
It saddens me to think of how many people don't know the uses for a sling.
Okay, how so, Tony?
Well, back in the day, you were trained to use the sling as a steadying device.
That's how I learned to stabilize. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I'm the only guy at the range doing that. And I got, people, they're propping their stuff up on sandbags that are spilling sand everywhere, and they're getting dirt in their action. And I got other people that, the lead sled and stuff like that. That's great for sighting it in. It's great for testing.
Yeah.
But if you have to use it, you're not going to carry that with you. You're not going to have steadying sticks with you. So, you might want to use it for because I've got a couple ways to support long guns for different things, but you also might want to try to learn how to shoot the thing offhand. You're not always going to be sitting at a bench, in real life. So it's something to consider. If you don't want to use a sling, don't. But if you do, there's lots of good information out there as far as traditional uses of the sling. And it'll give you a break when you need it.
Yeah,
Sounds like a good video.
There you go. That would be cool, actually. Yeah.
You damn sure don't want to be carrying that gun in your hand all day. And there's no point to it. I mean, if you're going to carry a gun in your hand, carry a handgun.
Yep.
And if you're afraid that your 9mm don't have enough power, then maybe you might think of a different handgun.
True.
Well, and I think that there's a lot of people talking about the tactical side of things and all that, but one of the things that I have that people laugh at me sometimes, it's not like I walk around town with it on or anything like that, but if you've got a good vest and you've got, even a plate carrier that might not even use a plate with, but I've got a Gauls tactical vest that I can put 5 different AR, AK mags in. I've got 6 different pouches for handgun magazines, an extra pouch to actually throw a handgun in. It's a holster built into the vest. So if you got one of those vests in an SHTF situation, and you've got a side holster on your hip, so you've got all this stuff, and you sling your rifle, you've got all of your weapons with you right there, and you're not having to carry them. You can utilize your hands for other things, whether it's you might have to have a hatchet or something to go through the woods or something like that. So, it sounds weird, and the tactical people, some people hate them, but I'm telling you, having a good tactical vest in that kind of a situation could be a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I think of somebody going out to the range for plinking or something like that, wearing the vest is like, look at me, I'm cool. But if you're out hiking, hunting, or you're trying to bug out on foot, that would be something that would be very practical. It's load bearing. It keeps stuff at the ready, but it keeps it out of the way too. So if you've got that in your gear, and like you were saying, not wearing it around town or nothing, but it could have a practical use down the road.
Yeah.
I think mine costs like $25, $30 at Gauls. You can get them cheap. You don't have to get the high end, low drag, type stuff. You can go to Gauls or somewhere like that and get one for pretty cheap and just enough to be helpful.
Yeah. Again, it might be a good accessory to look into. I agree with you completely on that. Or like you said before, plate carrier, maybe you've got your MOLLE attachment points on it or your Alice system. You can have that all set up ready to go. You just put it on, buckle it, and leave. You can have that on while you're loading stuff out of your vehicle and just jet. You maybe have a sidearm with you up on it, a couple magazines, med kit, trauma kit.
The better loadout system you've got for load distribution on your body, like a pack frame, the more you're going to be able to carry without suffering.
It's true.
Well, and you mentioned MOLLE, and a lot of people, they see range bags, they see all this stuff, and they see all this MOLLE on there. But I would be willing to bet that 90% of the people don't know how to utilize MOLLE. And if you do it right, you can distribute the weight evenly.
Oh, yeah.
You can attach all sorts of stuff to where MOLLE could be utilized in so many different ways that people never even think about.
I just use it on a 3-gun setup, and it's freaking awesome. Just the compatibility between all the brands and the fact that you can set it up how you want it and the fact it fits. It's a nice standard to have in a world where there's not a lot of standardized, when you think about it, when you get vests and bags and stuff, they might have their own little random spots for patches and Velcro and this and that, but that is a nice standard that tactical gear is built to, so it'd be something to look into. So yeah. Plus, that stuff is relatively inexpensive. MOLLE attachments, magazine pouches, you know, your attachment points and stuff. You don't have to invest a lot of money into it because there's just some, you can go old Army surplus. I mean, there's a lot of it out there.
Yeah, you can go and get
so-
those little carabiners at
Mhm.
Walmart for 50 cents, 25 cents, get a ton of those, and you can attach anything to that Molly stuff, you know?
Yeah, yep.
You know, the Army surplus, it's good if you're around somebody who's actually serving because they change quite frequently. I mean, I know my daughter has got 3 different backpack setups just because they changed the camo pattern.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
back to woodland now. But you know, they went woodland, then they went to the freaking digital camo, which they
Desert
found out
digi,
wasn't
yeah.
worth the crap. For people, it worked all right for digital stuff looking at them, but people could see it. Now they're back to woodland. Like, I got a perfectly good digital camo backpack here from the military that is great.
Good.
You know, it'll hold 60, 70 pounds of stuff in it, and you can walk with it.
True. Yeah.
Hey, what about the whole if you're gonna bug out with an AR, having different uppers? Like, say you've got maybe like a pistol length upper in your backpack, but you've got the carbine length upper slung over your shoulder or something.
Yeah, a Cadillac Jack had suggested a 5.56 AR, but then a 300 blackout upper in a backpack with a couple boxes of ammo, or you get your, you'd have a 9mm upper that you could run with that would take Glock mags, and so you got a Glock sidearm compatibility right there. So it's just kind of like what Ghost was talking about doing. I mean, it'd be the same idea with the Beretta mags that it takes, and you know, a Beretta sidearm, and then you'd have your AR-15 with maybe a Glock sidearm. Then your AR-15 has an adapter or is designed to take the Glock magazines also. So it's not a bad idea. And granted, it's going to be extra weight and extra bulk, but if it's common caliber for ammo, it'd be another, just grab that upper, especially if you have iron sights on it ready to go or some sort of optic on it, you know, a red dot or whatever, that take it with. You know, you'd have it as a backup if you've ever had trouble with your primary upper or any parts failing. You know, something to think about there too. All right, good discussion on that. Again, I'm glad we kind of got into it a little bit, just some stuff to think about, you know, and again, the whole idea of whether or not you should bug out or leave, that's a whole separate discussion. That's going to depend on your urban environment, your situation, your availability to get to where you need to go, your routes, your roads, your ability. I mean, you know, the family, can the family go, that kind of thing. It'd be a whole nother discussion, but it is good to talk about, especially in the time of natural disasters like we see going on the East Coast right now. You know, we've got a few members of the Gun Channel's family that were in a situation where they might have had 24 hours before they had to load up their car and go, with the possibility of coming home to no home, you know? So what do you want to take with you? What do you need? You know, what you know? So, all right.
You better not be thinking of stuff that requires batteries if you're thinking long term.
Yeah.
You better have
Batteries?
sights on your gun that doesn't require batteries.
You know, if anything takes a USB charger, there's so many ports or ways you can charge stuff, whether it's in your vehicle off a cigarette adapter or a battery pack. I've got a solar powered juice pack that has 2 USB ports on it. You set it out in the sun for 12 hours. It has enough to power up your phone to 30% before the battery's depleted. So, I mean, you've got, granted, this stuff's going to wear out. It's going to wear out. Eventually, it's not going to take a charge. And in a really bad situation, those electronics are finite. I mean, they're going to wear out and go. Your phone will probably be of no use anyway if there's no cell phone towers available. You know, you might have some of the stuff and the tools and the devices built into the phone you could use, flashlight, camera, etc. But that's a good point, Tony. I mean, try to not rely. Or if you have another thing to consider, maybe have an extra pack of batteries for your optic. If it takes the watch batteries or it takes a special kind of like little mini AA battery or whatever you call it, you know, depending on what you're running for an optic, make sure you've got backups. Otherwise, you're going to be relying on your iron sights, which is fine, but it's not an optimal situation to be in.
And don't forget to take your cable locks and your trigger locks. That way you can keep your firearm secure at all times.
Yes, because in a justice situation,
you can lock things together and lock it to a tree.
Possibility, but I mean, I get somebody might not have a pair of wire cutters with them or a bolt cutter with them. You know, if they're going to be traveling, I mean, you know, just lock your stuff up while you got to go out and go hunt for some food. Lock your guns up so if somebody takes, at least you know they're not going to use it on you when they break into your house.
if I come up to it and see the cable lock, I'm just going to shoot it with 44 Magnum. But
this is true. Okay, they might have a gun on them or they might not. So yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to our second topic. So that was a good discussion. I like that. Good hypothetical. A lot of good ideas out there. Everything from the 22, takedown rifle to the 12 gauge to the M1 Garand, all that fun stuff. The next topic, and then again, another viewer request. The person wants some suggestions for a solid AR build, where to begin, whether it's a pistol or whether it's a carbine, a rifle. What kind of suggestions could we make to this person if they want to get into a solid platform to build and develop their AR-15, or maybe make it into an AR-9 or whatnot?
First off,
where do you start? Tony, go ahead. Tony.
Off, if you don't own one,
yeah,
you should buy one completed first, so you know how the thing's supposed to work, or at least get around somebody who's got one. You don't want to be chasing a bunch of problems when you don't know what the hell's what with the gun to start with.
I'm going to disagree with you.
I don't agree with that at all, Tony.
To a point, I'm going to disagree.
Nope.
I mean, there's pros and cons of buying. Go ahead, Squib.
If you can do disc brakes on your car, you can assemble an AR-15. So, if you don't know how to do some basic maintenance and you don't have some basic tools, then maybe that's, if you're the kind of that don't want to get your nails messed up because you're getting a pedicure or something, then yeah. But as far as putting together a lower, putting everything in there for the trigger group and putting in the buffer tube, and whether you got a fixed stock or a collapsible stock, putting together the bolt carrier group, all that's if they can train a bunch of Marines to do it, they can train anybody to do it. So, but assembling the upper is a little bit more. You're going to need some gunsmithing tools for that, and you're going to need access to stuff like a drill or a drill press, or so that you might want to just go ahead and get the upper pre-assembled or mostly assembled, and then in that case you can just swap out uppers too. But that putting together that lower, no, it ain't hard.
The only thing I'll say about the lower, if you do it yourself, you're not going to save anything versus buying one that was pre-assembled. This one was all made from parts. Squib, some of the parts you sent me are in there. The lower receiver. All this, buying it all separate, it was basically a break-even deal with buying all the parts as a completed kit from PSA. I got everything delivered. I had some parts sitting around too, but you can get yourself a completed lower for $129 with Magpul furniture between $149 and $159. If you got to go buy a complete lower parts kit and a lower, you're looking at about $130, $140. So you're not going to save much, but to have the experience of putting the gun together, you just need some simple punches, a hammer. I mean, I bought very few tools to actually put that lower together. And just watching the video, it's, like you said, it's just a series of pins and a little bit of pressure and some springs. It's really not that hard to do if you're careful about it. But again, if somebody's not mechanically intuitive, somebody doesn't know how to work with tools, if somebody has no tools, sure, buy one pre-assembled. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to starting with that stripped lower, it's not hard to do. I mean, it's just, if you've got any kind of mechanical inclination at all, anybody can do it.
You can save money on an assembly if one of two things. One, you buy one already assembled, and then you just start swapping out parts like it's a Glock. Okay.
True.
At that point, you were better off just buying what you wanted and putting it together in the order you wanted.
Yeah.
So in that case, you can save money. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, if there is a ban going on and the prices go through the roof, or there's something going on and the prices go through the roof, you can save money by putting it together yourself. During the assault weapons ban back in the 90s, I assembled my first AR-15 for about a third the cost of buying one completely assembled new, because the prices were through the roof. And I was able to get a pre-ban lower and do a mil-spec build with all the evil features, and I was totally within the law, and I did it for a third of the cost of one that they neutered. I don't understand how they could justify jacking up the price so much when they were taking features off. And you could say, retooling. I work in automotive manufacturing. Dude, that sort of retooling, taking features off, doesn't cost crap. So it was a big scam in some ways that they were charging you more to get less stuff during the assault weapons ban. But at that point, if you...
stupid.
Yeah, well, that was just it. These guns were not that popular. Then they banned them, and now everybody wants one. And now all of a sudden, all these companies are popping up overnight because they see dollar signs. And now you're $400 AR-15, and I know that you can get them for that now, but back in the early 90s, you could get a Colt for that sort of price, right? We're $1,200 overnight with the stroke of a pen. We did have some notice. I can't remember how many notices or how many months it was from the time that Clinton signed it to the time it actually happened. But the whole point is, that's where all these companies started coming up out of the woodwork or deciding to retool for AR-15s. Is like they saw dollar signs. So if anything, the assault weapons ban is what created this vast number of companies making these things now, because back then I think there were only like 4 companies making them or something like that. So it wasn't a big deal. But I was able to save myself a lot of money by doing it myself back then. So it's just something to keep in mind. If you can find parts during some sort of gun scare, you might save money on assembly. But otherwise, yeah, if you buy it already together, if you're not too worried about the features, you just want to have one, then yeah, you'll probably save more money.
Okay, so now here's a question. Go ahead, guys. Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry. There's nothing
I was going to say, Ghost. I wanted to ask you, specifically Ghost and Squib and Tony. Were you in the Army at one time?
No, I was not. They wouldn't let me in.
All right. So Squib and Ghost, if somebody wants to build an AR-15, would you recommend that they spend the money and get a Colt lower or an FN lower? Would it matter versus going with a PSA or DPMS or any other brand? What do you guys think? Does it? I mean, because in my opinion, mil-spec is mil-spec to a point, but I would think that maybe something military grade, actually military issue, might be a little bit better for you, just because I don't know, durability or
First thing
for me, it's. Go ahead, Tony.
The first thing I want to get at is if it comes to Colt. Colt has a history of shooting themselves in the friggin' foot throughout their whole damned existence because they want to go after military contracts. They don't give a shit about selling stuff to civilians for the most part.
No, I'm just talking about quality of parts. I'm not talking about who they're marketing it to. I'm just saying, is there an advantage to going Colt and FN versus PSA?
Not Colt. I don't know about FN.
Okay, or maybe SIG, and who knows? They might have it. Ghost, what do you think?
I think Smith & Wesson or Ruger's making quality stuff.
I own 3 ARs. 2 of them are Smiths. I've never had any issues with Smiths. As far as lowers, it's just me. It depends on what you're going to use it for. I mean, if you're just going to use it as a recreational tool, or to go hunting or whatever, I don't think that really matters. I don't think that anyone's if someone's building an AR for a bug out type thing, then yeah, possibly it could come into the quality of parts. But if you're just looking to have to shoot some steel, maybe do a little hunting with and all that, to me personally, the upper is much more important for quality parts than the lower. That's just me, though.
Yeah, now, I agree. Yeah, so
my thinking on Colt, my favorite gun, the most beautiful gun ever made, was a Colt. It was a Colt Python, in my opinion. But if you look at Colt's history, man, they've done a lot of dumb stuff throughout their history and hurt themselves a lot.
Okay.
Well, I think that no offense, but I think all firearm manufacturers are based off of the military use somehow, somewhere, military or police use. So it's not just Colt that maybe Colt's maybe actively going after contracts more, but most of the designs of the world of firearms were based off of a design that was primarily devoted towards a military reason. So, but yeah, you have other companies that are actually looking for those contracts. But I mean, you're telling me that, an AR-15 that is, no matter who the lower or the upper is, whatever brand it is, it's based off of a rifle that was designed for military use. So I think they're all going to be fine. I think that it depends on what you're looking for. If you're just using for fun, I think the lower it doesn't matter to me. I mean, you can go get, I think you were picking up, you got like a $35 lower from PSA during the Christmas break or something like that, didn't you? The basic frame of the lower, Travis?
For me,
the PSA had like $35 or something.
Lower.
Anderson,
the Anderson lower was $35 locally. The other,
and it's going to work fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a tight rear takedown pin, but I've heard about that from them. But the other PSA, the AR pistols and stuff, no problems, man. I mean, they're fine. It's not like I'm going to be looking at like a long term. Just again, the question was where to start. What are some good suggestions for just a basic platform to start from? What do you recommend?
Let me approach this from a different angle. Okay. So all of these lowers are going to be built mil spec or slightly better. The finish on them might be a little bit better. The coating, that might be, because some companies do have a little bit. They have optional, or we use right. Overall, mil spec is, if you think mil spec means it's indestructible, no. Mil spec is mil spec. They make a specification for durability or ergonomics or whatever it is, right? Or interchangeable to a spec, and then they sell it to the lowest bidder. Okay, so when Ghost and I went through boot, they had Colt M16A2s, but when it went to the armorer, the parts that they put in there to fix them might have been Colt, it might have been FN. And a few years later, it might have been Bushmaster. Yeah. So if you want to build something if you're trying to build a mil spec because you want it I want it to be as GI as possible, just for some sort of collectability or just for your own, this is your little project and this is what you're trying to do. For example, my first AR-15 is an Armalite lower, but all FN parts. And at that time, in the late 90s, FN was the prime contractor for M16s and M4s and replacement parts. The contract went from Colt to FN to Bushmaster. I don't know who's got it now, but that's what they'll do is they'll put out for bid. And once it's a mil spec, it's a mil spec. So if you design something and it's got a mil spec, you pretty much lose the patent more or less. So you could have one company selling them gun oil, and then a few years later, they put it out for bid, and this other company can copy your design for gun oil and sell it cheaper, and they undercut you, and that's what the government does, And so if you're trying to build something that is GI as possible, like mine is, the lower is not GI. The Armalite lower that's there, that's not the same Armalite that was in the 50s. It's Eagle Arms is what it is. So with the exception of that, mine is 20-inch, 1 and 9-inch twist, chrome line, blah blah blah. The GI compensator, built-in carry handlers before people start chopping the tops off of them, fixed butt stock. I've even got the cleaning kit in the butt stock. It's got the GI sling. It's as close to the M16A2 that I had when I was active duty as I can get, short of having that ridiculous 3-round burst.
How good is that 1 and 9?
It works fine for me. I shot 55 grain all but one time when I was in. So I use 55 and 62 grain full metal jacket in it, and it does just fine. But I prefer the 1 and 8 or 1 and 9 in twist for the types of loads that I use. I bounce between about 50 and 62 grain for my reloads or what I buy. If you're trying to go with a 40 grain or 77 grain or something, you might want a different setup. I mean, the original ones were 1 and 12 or 1 and 14, and then they went to 1 and 7, and then they went to 1 and 9. But everything we've got is 1 and 8 or 1 and 9 in 5.56.
Yeah, my Bear Creek is a 1 and 9 also. It runs just fine on 55 grain.
So if you're trying to get a mil spec, if you're trying to get mil spec from the standpoint of I want this thing to be like what they had in the military or what they have in the military, then you're going to want a Colt, a Bushmaster, or an FN lower. You're going to want Colt, Bushmaster, FN parts, and I don't know if anybody else is out there. But as far as if you think mil spec is just indestructible, it's not necessarily that it's indestructible. If you want a decent, reliable, affordable, American-made, 100% American-made AR-15 that has all kinds of options as far as what you could do with barrel length and caliber and twist rate, go with Anderson. I know people dog them because of the price. And I've never had an Anderson that has given me any sort of problem. I've never bought any part from them that's ever been a problem. Maybe some people are talking about the pins don't line up. It's never happened to me. But Anderson, all their stuff is American made, not that new crappy optic they've got. And, the t-shirt you buy there, I think is made overseas or whatever. But as far as their gun parts or their completed guns, they're all American made. And they're all mil spec or better. And I mean, there's other brands out there like, Ghost was talking about Smith. Smith does just fine. Delton does good. You know, if you want to spend, if you've got flippy money and you want to have the nicest looking, most expensive one, go get a Noveski, I guess, or whatever. It really doesn't matter, but it's really what you do with it. It's if you're trying to assemble it for some sort of nostalgic reason, that's one thing. If you're trying to set it up for a certain kind of, you want it short and light, you want it long range, you want it, I don't know, more corrosion resistant. You want, whatever it is that you're trying to do with it, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you know what? Whether you're going to do a pistol or you're going to go get yourself a pistol lower, you know, or you're going to get a multi AR 5.56 lower designated for a pistol, depending on what your state laws are and stuff, or you're going to go the rifle route, the carbine route, or mid length or whatever. You know, you really can't go wrong. I guess the big thing here is that you can be confident that you're going to have a lot of parts compatibility. Now, there are some proprietary lowers that are out there, and again, they were talking about forged lowers versus milled and so on. And you could run into some situations where a certain, like I know SIG makes a line of ARs that the uppers and lowers are not compatible with your standard M4 pattern. So you're going to run into that. But for just your average guy putting something together, get yourself a fully assembled lower or just go ahead and build one yourself if you want to. You really can't go wrong. And then from that, you've got the whole world of uppers at your doorstep. You can put on there whatever you want to. You know, whether you want to go 458 SOCOM or you want to go 450 Bushmaster, or you want to go 9mm and so on, 300 Blackout. It's not a big deal. You know, I mean, the good thing about the mil spec, unlike the AR-10s where there's more variance in what's out there, with your mil spec standard, you really can't go wrong with that. Parts compatibility and so on. And yeah, my Anderson lower's been fine. I mean, it does have a slightly tight rear pin, but it's been getting better as I've used it a couple times. You know, it's loosened up a little bit.
And you said it right there, Travis, the compatibility. If it's mil spec, it's going to fit. It's going to fit. It's going to fit. It's going to fit. You can take it off of one onto the other because it's mil spec. And Go said that too earlier about compatibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Interchangeability. So I would say that's your biggest thing as far as mil spec is that more so than the finish or the durability.
You know, and if you want to get yourself a Christensen Arms, or you want to get yourself a Noveski, or you want to get yourself an FN, go right ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, just in terms of an average build, it depends what you want to do with it. Again, the trigger, you might want to put yourself maybe a competition grade trigger if you're going to be using it for some sort of precision shooting versus the heavier standard combat style trigger. Yeah, you know, I think you're going to be fine. I think you'll be fine going with it. If you don't know where to start, you can always, like I said, start a PSA or go Anderson or go Arrow and then go from there. There's not a lot of difference in price between their completed lowers, maybe 20 or 30 bucks when you really think about it.
Ruger's selling their AR 5.56 lowers.
Yep.
Who the heck else? I mean,
Bushmaster,
there's
DPMS,
so many out there.
You know, so if it says it's built to mil spec and it's aluminum, you know, it's forged aluminum or whatnot, or anodized aluminum,
You guys know I don't like plastic guns. I'm considering getting a plastic lower.
Oh, like an Omega or Plum Crazy?
Or New Frontier Armory has a carbon fiber reinforced plastic lower, no metal in it at all. Not even where the buffer tube is.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the touchy-feely one a couple weeks ago, and they had their old one that was all plastic side by side with the new one, and I was able to touchy-feely, and I'm like, I don't know, you know, I still got this in the back of my mind. There's still a little bit of plastic prejudice, you know, but I'm thinking, why not? If it breaks,
let the hate
it's
go.
Got a lifetime warranty.
Embrace the polymer, Squid.
Yeah,
the polymer.
Well,
let the hate go.
And that's the irony. I work at a plastic factory, right? But I got the touchy-feely one of these things. It costs just as much as an aluminum, and it's kind of like, maybe I'll get it and just, you know, whatever. So,
How much
got a lot of
that lower anyway?
for that.
Ruger's.
I think they wanted $40 for it.
So
I thought that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
Ruger's
yeah.
First polymer handgun was, I think, the P95, and it didn't have any metal inserts in it.
In the frame?
Yeah, it didn't have metal inserts. It was plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my SR40 is a plastic lower or plastic frame or whatever you want to call it, and it does okay.
My Kel-Tec CT9 is the same way. I don't think there's any metal inserts in it other than just the serial number bar, and that's it.
But there are some people making plastic lowers for AR-15s that have got metal reinforcement in them. It's molded in, or they've got it around where you screw in the buffer tube. I mean, for guys like me, that gives you a little bit of you can sleep better at night, right? Knowing there's some metal in there. But the carbon fiber reinforces all space age. So, I mean, you do have that route you can go too. I don't know if anybody makes a steel lower, but I thought somebody made a magnesium lower, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure who, but if we do a quick Google search, it'll pop up. But yeah, no, I mean, there's all kinds of exotic materials that are coming out now for lowers and stuff. You know what you're saying about those? I know they mentioned on Classic Farms website with the Plum Crazy lowers that they're on a Gen 2 model, that the issues with, they even addressed the fact that there were problems earlier on with the buffer tube threading, cracking, you know, that area cracking, and the metal reinforcement has basically eliminated that problem. I believe those come with a lifetime guarantee too if they do crack. Not that it matters in a combat situation, but for somebody who's just a weekend warrior and you want something to plink with at the range or to play around with. So,
and that's the same thing they told me at New Frontier Armory. He says, look, we had problems with these all plastic ones. This new carbon fiber reinforced, you don't need any metal in here, I'm telling you. And he goes, if you do have a problem, he says, you won't, but if you do, we have a lifetime warranty. So it's just a matter of me, you know, shipping it off for an exchange and then going down to my FFL and, you know, that sort of thing. I mean, not that I want to deal with, who wants to deal with a warranty, but it's good to have it there. But I thought maybe I'd just get one and give it a try. On the gun channel side, we got some suggestions over here. Paper Plane Crash is saying, I like the Tennessee Arms polymer lowers. They're reinforced and light. I got one for an AR-9 and one in 308. Squid, and I think you can get those in different colors, right? You don't just have to get it in black or gray. And then Patrick's saying, Squib, you want the G-Wax or Gwax poly lower A1 link? Talk to me before you buy. I'm not sure what that's all about. So you might want to check that over on the gun channel side. It'll make sense to you when you look at the comments. So. You know, and again, you want to go the polymer lower. The only thing with the polymer lowers is, okay, it's $99 for a complete polymer lower over on Classic, but you still got to pay for shipping and maybe some sales tax. Whereas go to PSA, you can get a complete aluminum lower, you know, forged aluminum lower for $129 with free shipping. I would like to kind of play around with the polymer lower just to see what it's like, to see if there's any difference, to see if I notice anything, see if I like it or not. You know, I wouldn't want to make it my go-to SHTF, you know, lower, but if they're reliable, you know, these days, modern technology, modern polymers, you know, I mean, that stuff can be pretty durable. So, hey, David, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the whole take here, man? Yeah.
Well, that was kind of the angle I was going to go in, is whether the plastic or the metal. My nephew just built his first AR 5.56, and he used basically all plastic parts. And his best friend built the same gun, but with mostly metal parts. When I hold the one that's made out of plastic by the handguard and the pistol grip, you can shake it, and the tolerances aren't as tight. You can feel it kind of rocking back and forth. When you do that with the one that's the majority metal, it doesn't have that rock.
You just don't have that rigidity overall that you do. Now, when we were talking about what Squib had mentioned with those, you know, the carbon fiber reinforced, you know, lowers, that would help. But again, you start putting polymer in there, creaking, flexibility. You're going to save on lightweight, but are you going to save on overall durability, you know?
And that's why, like we talked about it a little earlier, I decided to do an AR build, and I chose the 308 because I've already got an AR-15.
Sure.
And I just wanted to do it. That's why I bought the strip lower, you know, and that's why I was originally looking at, you know, buying all of the interior parts for the lower one at a time. But that I'll probably end up buying a kit. But everything else I'm going to get one piece at a time because, like I said before, I don't really have a budget. I don't really have a time limit. And I want it to be exactly what I want it to be. And I want to put it all together myself. Every screw that gets turned, I want that to be my gun. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
The thing with the polymer and the looseness is it has to be a little bit more clearance in the polymer because they'll wear way quicker. So I don't think that would be a problem.
Yeah.
The plastic one shoots fantastic. Like, it's very, very well built. It just has that lack of tolerance, but that makes sense that if it's really tight, it's going to start cracking.
I mean, Ruger built that P95 with just plastic with the stainless steel. I can't think of what you call it now. The whole top of it. No, the upper part of it's all stainless steel, and then the frame is polymer. And I never heard of one of them things breaking.
Yeah.
I've had several of them, and I've run really hot stuff through them, and they have no problem.
And again, this all depends on what you want to do, what you want to do with that AR. So, you know, you got to kind of sit down and think, what do you want, something that's going to be a battle ready rifle, or do you want something that's going to be a precision range gun? Do you want something that's going to be just kind of a weekend toy? And that really is going to kind of fuel which lower you decide to go with, or how much money you want to spend on it, or what parts kit you want to go with. I would recommend, and we can have a whole other discussion on this, but I would recommend, if you're going to do anything target precision, nothing wrong with the standard mil-spec trigger on the AR, but if you shoot with a Geisley or an aftermarket trigger or something that's had a little bit of a buff to it, that's been, you know, maybe gone through and smoothed out a little bit. I do love the aftermarket triggers. I mean, I do like a lighter trigger pull, just because I think you're going to be more accurate with it, in my opinion, when you talk about fine precision. So, you know, and that's another nice thing. If you build your own lower, you can drop that Geisley trigger in there that you want to, or any other aftermarket trigger. A lot of those packs are ready to go. You put them in and pin them in, and you're ready to go. So, you know, that's something also to think about. If you do your own builds, that's kind of nice. You have that flexibility to drop your own parts, and like we said earlier. But if you're going to go the target precision route, maybe consider some sort of an aftermarket or enhanced or upgraded trigger pack, just in my opinion. And then you get into bolt carrier groups. You know, do you want to go with something that's got the nickel boron finish? You want to go with something made out of titanium? Do you want something that's just got a nitride finish, or just has, you know, whatever to it, parkerized or whatnot? You know,
You're also going to be looking at caliber also. I mean, you're going to go probably, if you're going to go shoot 6.5 Creed, then you're probably going to go a little bit better quality barrel bolt carrier group than you are if you're going to go 2.23 Remington. And it's just, you know, you're looking at the caliber is going to play a role in that as well.
Or, you know, 224.
That might also play a role in the lower as well. I mean, for you know, if you're going to go and try to get 6.5 Creed or something you're going to try to go out to 1,000 yards with, you might want to upgrade a little bit on the structure and the quality of the lower as well, just to handle the pressure.
Yeah.
There's so many options with the AR. It's hard to say anything in general, because everything matters in a different way.
Yeah. So that's it.
The beauty of it. You can customize it to whatever you want, and it's your rifle or your carbine or your pistol. It's yours. It's distinctly yours.
You know, when I took the first shots with this, it was a different feeling than when I shot the Bear Creek, because I put this together and I put every little pin in there. I put, you know, the parts are from parts from you guys. It was just a cool feeling when you pull the trigger and it worked. At first I was like, oh my God, it actually runs. Then it took a second shot and a third shot. Something kind of fun, something kind of visceral about building your own weapon, your own firearm, and then taking it to the range and being able to enjoy it more. It'd be even more if it was like an 80% lower and I did the machining and I did the drilling and I did the finishing on it. You know, it's a lot more of a kind of a connection to that weapon, I think.
You really have to understand where I come from on this deal, because I worked for 30 years putting stuff together. I do not want to put a gun together.
Okay.
I mean, I did put muzzle loaders together.
Yeah.
And I did not like it.
Well, you know, just something kind of fun about
music.
Yeah, just something kind of fun about putting it together yourself, and it actually runs, and it's just kind of neat. Like when you fix your own vehicle, you know, you do something successful, you've never done it before. It's a cool feeling to have it work, whether it's changing an alternator or swapping out a transmission or whatnot. You know, it's always kind of a cool feeling to accomplish something yourself like that. You just feel a little more proud when you're done. And that's something that's neat about building the lower yourself, just in my opinion.
I don't teach for a living, though. I worked on shit for a living.
Oh, yeah. I fix a lot of stuff around the house too, man. You know, there's just a lot of little things you work on. It just depends on your application. But like you said, 30 years of building stuff. And it's like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm not going to mess with it anymore.
In which case you just buy one fully assembled.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where I come from, man. I do not want to build a gun.
Yeah. Well, hey, look at my old man. He spent 40 years trimming tenderloins in a beef packing plant. And now when he buys the steaks, he buys them pre-cut and pre-wrapped. In the supermarket. He doesn't bother buying the whole strips himself and cutting them up and stuff because he's tired of it. He hates it. You know, he's done with it. So, you know.
I tell you what, putting together a piece of furniture from IKEA is harder than assembling a lower. How's that?
No, well, okay, maybe. I did some furniture this summer for a buddy, and yeah, I find their stuff a little bit better and easier to assemble than just the off-the-rack Walmart stuff, personally. I don't know. I find the finish and stuff a little bit higher quality. With IKEA, you know, you can buy so many different lines and grades of furniture that they offer. You can spend whatever you want. But
do they make them out of wood, or is it that crap Walmart?
No, well, I don't know. I mean, we've got an IKEA TV stand we've had for about 7 or 8 years now that has not started flexing or drooping or falling apart or breaking. And I've had cheap desks I bought at Walmart that lasted 1 school year. You know,
it's kind of denser particle board. Yeah,
I like the finish. I like the hardware a little bit better, and I think there may be a step up in quality from some of the bargain basement stuff you're going to get. Of course, you can't beat a good garage sale find or a good thrift store find on some nice, solid, constructed furniture. So how are we getting on the idea of furniture? I don't even know how we're going there. Our
Because we're
furniture
assembling things.
We're putting stuff together.
This
So
is
now we've got
caliber
from AR
corner.
lowers,
Anything could happen.
AR
How many
lowers
screws?
to yeah, if it
How many
involves
screws should you have left over?
Exactly.
When you build your AR, if you've got a bunch of extra screws left over.
You need to go back and look stuff over because that could be bad.
I just want IKEA to start selling lower build kits.
That would be awesome. That's the one thing they don't offer yet. That'd be great. There you go. If they just have it in like the man. Well, there isn't really a man section in IKEA, is there? No, not really.
No.
Oh, they got the tools. They got a tool area. They have some tools. Cooking section is as close as it gets in the man section for me in IKEA. So the bro section, as I like to call it. So, all right, we're gonna move on to the last section of the show for today. This is it. And again, if you don't have an AR, you can think about any kind of AK or a rifle. You can just maybe make it fit the bill because a lot of the things we buy for one gun can be used with another gun. So we're going to do a top 10. We don't do a lot of countdowns on the show, but we're going to do a top 10. This is a viewer request. Top 10 accessories that you think a person should get if they get themselves an AR. Where would you start stuff if you bought? All right. Tony, do you want to start? Because I will just make the list up, and if we have any carryover, I'm going to mark it and hopefully give you guys a solid top 10. So, Tony, you go ahead and start. We'll go down the line, and I'll throw myself in at the very end. Go ahead, Tony.
There's just one thing for me, and that's a sling.
Okay, so number 10, we're going to say a sling. Gotcha. Anytime somebody says sling,
yeah, he took mine.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We'll get these out of the way, and then we'll go through the list. All right, so Squib, what do you want to say? You want to say a sling?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, for number 10. All right. Jim, what about you? What's your number 10?
Number 10, I'm going to go... Yeah, I'll go sling.
Okay. Ghost?
Crap. Ghost, I took your absolutely. Tony took my sling. I took your absolutely. This is bad.
Well, I'm going to say absolutely. I'm going sling.
Sling, okay. David, what about you?
If number 10, I would go with the sling.
All right, and I have iron sights. Flip up. If you don't have them on your gun, get yourself a good set of aftermarket iron sights to go with, or flip up sights if you have a flat top upper. All right. I mean, all my ARs are fixed front A2, but all right. So okay, that covers that. All right. Next, Tony, what would be next on your list?
Well, if it were for AR, I would say some sort of good handguard.
Okay. Let's call this. Let's put the aftermarket furniture together. Whether it's the handguard, the stock, the pistol grip, we'll put that all together because many times you tend to buy pieces, like multiple pieces, or you buy kit. So we'll call that furniture, man furniture, not IKEA furniture. All right. So we'll give you a handguard. It could be a buttstock. It could be a pistol grip. Sure. All right. So furniture. Okay. Squib, what about you?
Bayonet.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
You sumbitch.
All right, Jim,
I
what
have
about
a
you?
problem bringing a knife to a gunfight, so bayonet really doesn't work for me.
Well, you can take that knife at the.
But that's why it's number 9.
Yeah, and these don't have to be in order of importance. We're going to tally them up and see what has the majority, and then go down the list from there. So,
hey, Ghost, if it matters, after this, I'm totally out of things because that's all I need.
well, I mean,
I hear you.
What do you need to function with a rifle? I mean, you can get into some cleaners, or you can get into cleaning rods and stuff like, just what kind of stuff do you typically buy for your rifles in general? All right, so where are we at here? We are at Jim. What would you say, man?
Does forward grip count as furniture?
No, we'll count that separate because when I'm thinking furniture, typically it's going to be the handguard, stock, and pistol grip. So we'll call that a VFG, vertical VFG or AFG, any kind of a vertical or angled foregrip. Because you might buy that and a lot of what we're talking about is going to apply to an AR pistol also, so it's going to fill double duty. Good suggestion. I don't even have that on my list. Ghost.
I'm totally
going bayonet.
Bayonet. I need to get one now that I got a mid-link that can actually mount one on there. Got a weird adapter. David.
I would say for the most important thing for me would, like you said, Travis, the sights. Don't get an AR without sights.
Okay, we'll differentiate iron sights from optics, just so you know, because some guys.
That's what I mean. Yeah, not
okay,
as far as the scope, but iron sight, flip up sight. The scope is something different. Yeah.
Okay, back to me.
Can I break in? You got a super chat.
Really? Am I even eligible?
Apparently.
Yeah, I'm not going to be watching the chat while I'm doing the tally, guys, so I do apologize. Super chat? Ooh, what? What? Oh, my God.
Groundbreaking on Caliber Corner. You're up to super chats now.
Yay! Okay.
The pressure is on.
See, okay, NEA Matt has a vodka fund. This is my coffee fund. This is my Black Rifle coffee fund, okay? So, Travis, do you have any experience with Glow On or another glowing sight paint or a bright model paint work for – will a bright model paint work for pistols?
Yes.
You guys want to chime in on this? Okay, Tony, what do you want to say, bud?
Absolutely, it will. I have a bottle of, let me see what it is here.
Like the Tester's model paint? Is that what you're talking about?
A bright model paint. A bright model paint's not going to glow, but if you get a specific glow paint or some sort of an enamel, a thick enamel paint that you can put in those little dots with a toothpick or paint it on with a brush. I have no experience with it because all the sites I've ever bought have been fiber optic that light up in low light situations with the fiber itself, or they've been night sights with tritium. So I don't have any paint experience myself. I have a family member that I believe has put glow paint on the front of his PT-111 G2. So I mean, they're going to work, but they're only going to stay charged, so to speak, for so long. But there's nothing wrong with it. It might last you a couple hours in a low light situation. Tony, you got any suggestions on that?
This is a brand that I have here.
I got to recommend.
It is Folk Art brand, fluorescent glow orange.
Fluorescent glow orange. What's the company again? Folk Art.
Folk Art.
Folk art.
Yes.
Folk art, like folk art, like basket weaving and stuff like that. Like ceramics, like folk art.
Brand name, Folk Art.
Folk art. Okay, is this glow in the dark, Tony?
Yes.
Cool. So Folk Art brand, nice fluorescent paint.
I've had it for years.
Okay.
I bought a 2-ounce bottle. It takes about a half a drop to do a sight.
Is it acrylic paint or is it? That's what I'm seeing.
I think
Google.
So. Yeah. You're probably going to want to get yourself an enamel or an acrylic when you do that.
Matt,
neon orange fingernail polish from the chat over there coming in on the YouTube side. You want to get yourself a dedicated glow-in-the-dark paint, though, if you're going to do that. Of course, those aren't necessarily very bright when they're not glowing, too. So
the thing with this is you have to put it on a couple of times a year.
So it's going to wear off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Night Strike swam into the chat.
Strike, buddy, you all right?
I'm currently drowning.
Wait a minute, what? You're currently what?
Dry. Okay, yeah. I thought you said drunk at first.
I thought you said drunk.
I thought you said drowning.
Dude, I guess it's 11:55 or 10:55 where you are. So
what I'm saying is it's raining outside.
I gotcha. Now, have you guys got an evacuation alert at all? Flooding alert?
No, it's now a tropical storm instead of a hurricane. So
question here, man. How much has it rained, or how much is they calling for?
They're saying we're probably going to get quarter of an inch here.
A quarter of an inch. They're talking evacuations for a quarter of an inch.
But that's what happens out there. I'm telling you, it's category 1, and when it makes landfall, it's a 5. It's a category 5 out at sea, and when it makes landfall, it's a tropical depression.
They overestimate, and the problem is when they overestimate, they go batshit here because hurricanes.
And then they underestimate on one, and that's the one that's real tragic. And then all the politicians get blamed for not taking the right steps, and then they overestimate for the next 9. It's just it's a cycle.
A small amount of rain.
They thought it was going to be like a category 4 or 5, but when it actually hit North Carolina, and hold on, it hit North Carolina. It was only like a category 2.
Hell, and now we got 7 inches of rain in 3 days.
And now they're saying that the way that it's moving, the way the storm is moving towards me, it's now a tropical storm. So it's lost steam, which is good because instead of being in category 5 and fucking up the entire East Coast, it's just, lost steam.
It can still dump a crap ton of rain on you, bud.
It can still dump a crap ton of rain. I might get 20-mile-an-hour winds, but the whole thing.
20, I wish I had 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Trust me. After Harvey last year, the wind ain't your problem.
Yeah, the whole thing of it being a storm that's probably going to kill me, not so much anymore.
Yeah, if it pulls in a lot of water from the ocean or it just parks on top of you for a couple days, then it's a problem.
We had that last tropical storm hurricane thingy come up from the south here. We got 7 inches of rain in 3 days. That's pretty substantial for here.
You know, if you get that inch of rain in 15 or 20 minutes, you know, the flash flood stuff is stuff you really got to worry about. A quarter inch of rain can be bad if it happens in 5 minutes. You just absolute dump on you. You know, that can be bad for sewer systems.
The main Charleston area is supposed to get like an inch of rain, but out here where I live outside of Charleston, kind of towards in the country, and they're saying over in my area we're only supposed to get like a quarter of an inch. So all I'm getting right now is rain and no wind outside right now. I'm kind of disappointed.
Well, we're glad that you're all right.
There we go.
I am too.
There we go. So,
I am too, and I
Nice
appreciate
Strike,
that, Tony.
do you want to get in on this top 10
We are?
accessories countdown, Nice Strike? I got to ask you because you want to get in on this? We're only on number 9. I haven't even got through number 9 yet. Do you want to jump in on this one?
Which one is it?
It's just top 10 AR accessories, top 10 things you buy when you typically get yourself an AR. Can you handle that?
Yeah, I can handle that. I'm an AR guy.
All right, give me your 10 and your 9 because we're up to Jim. He's next in line. So what's your 10 and your 9? Will be 2 things.
Accessories.
Yeah, accessories. Yeah, Furniture is going to be its own category. Vertical angle foregrip is a separate category. So handguard, stock, pistol grip, it's all included together in the same boat.
Where do Band-Aids come in?
Who?
Band-Aids.
Wow. That's when you're working on your 1911, not your AR.
Okay. What I normally do with my ARs, I usually build my ARs. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I do is, yes, I buy the standard trigger group and springs for it, but I always buy the match grade springs, so I get the 3.5 inch bolt instead.
So we'll call it match grade upgrades, like as in trigger, springs. We can maybe put that together. Okay, match grade upgrades.
That's what I do.
Cool. We can put the aftermarket trigger or the match grade trigger in that same category too.
Yeah.
Okay. This includes trigger. I'm keeping track of this stuff, so we're going to be good. Okay, and then I need another one because we're on 9.
No one.
Bayonet.
Okay,
bayonet.
No sling, huh?
We'll get there. We have 10. There's a lot of time.
We got 10.
We'll get there. He needs a minute to put it together. So
bayonet is higher on the list.
Okay, Jim, we are at you right now. Nice.
I did 9. Yeah. I did the foregrip.
You had the VFG. Okay, Ghost.
Number 9, I'm going to go with a carry handle. I've always liked carry handles on mine.
Cool. I do too. They're so nice. They're convenient, easy to dial in. You can take it off. You got to put an optic on, slap it back on. You still have
exactly.
Carry handle. All right. David.
I'm going bipod.
See, that was the one thing I left off the list because that's, they're easy to mount with the right rail and the right attachment. So bipod, okay. I'm going to go with the dedicated or just an optic, either a red dot or some sort of magnified optic, which we'll consider different from iron sights. So, okay, number 8, Tony.
Well, this is not actually an accessory for the gun as it is for working on it. And that's
that too. We can count that too. Stuff that people buy when they buy an AR or a rifle. What's that, Tony?
Yeah, some sort of stand, be it a lead sled or something like that.
Okay, stand to shoot. Okay. By the way, quick thing over on the gun channel side. What's that?
I get it for more working on the gun, but yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to say, hopefully we answered the question on the glow-in-the-dark paint. Just get yourself a dedicated paint for it and understand you may need to put it on more than once because it could rub off if you have a lot of holster wear and stuff. And then somebody mentioned over on the gun channel side, it was either Paper Plane Crash or was it Patrick? Paper Plane Crash said you can charge glow paint with a camera flash from your phone in a pinch if you need to. So if you need to quickly hit it, so you got to go out and check something and your sight's not glowing, you could give it a quick charge and then go outside real quick. So that's just some other advice. So hopefully we made that super chat worth your time. So I give you some good ideas there. Okay, so we said a stand to shoot from Tony. Squib. What's your number 8?
Dude, I'm out. M203 grenade launcher. That's about it. I mean, I'm out of.
Okay, chainsaw adapter, right? Okay.
I mean, I'm not for hanging crap off your AR unless it's maybe purpose built for that. I mean, I know some people tournaments with Army knives, but
you can throw some maintenance stuff out there too. Some things that you have specifically to maintain your AR. whether it's a
Yeah,
certain
I
tool
mean
kit,
like an
cleaning
armorer's
supplies.
wrench or something, but
Yeah,
I mean
no,
that's just it with my gunsmithing tools. So
yeah. Well,
Okay.
okay. We'll take gunsmithing tools maybe for your next one. Okay, that's fine.
Sure.
Well, again, it's accessories. That's all the person was asking. Give me your top 10 list of accessories. I want to see what you guys see if we have any commonality between us when we talk about this. All right, Night Strike. What's next?
Put down armorer's wrench for me because I build ARs. The first thing I bought when I built my ARs, my first AR, was an armorer's wrench, and
Okay, so
believe it or not,
okay.
it's helped me immensely.
Whether you're getting off that steak castle nut or trying to get a good torque down on it before you steak it, you know,
It
or
also
everything.
it's the one I got also helps you put take on and off flash hiders and muscle brakes.
Okay, cool. God, I thought of another one that I'm gonna.
Ain't that what Rigid makes pipe wrenches for?
I might want to get something a little more specific. Yeah, you could always go. You can adapt most of your toolbox tools, your under the hood vehicle tools to work on your ARs. Also, you can make it work with certain wrenches and whatnot. So, possibility. Okay. Let's see, Jim. What's your number 8?
I was gonna go armorer's wrench too. It's hard to beat a tool specific to some of those jobs.
There you go. Okay. Ghost.
A good bore snake.
Okay.
Ooh,
Save some time out in the field. And if there's one, I'm going to write this one down, but I don't know if anybody's gonna mention it. But I'll wait till the very end. They'll make it an honorable mention for me if nobody says it. David, what about you?
I would go with extra magazines. You know, the first thing I got when I got my ARs is a bunch of extra magazines.
Yeah, because you know you could have the next Sandy Hook pop up and then cheaper than dirt selling them for $80 a piece. You know. All right, cool. All right, and for me, my number 8 is going to be furniture. I would say go the M-Lock route. Go MOE M-Lock route because you can accessorize easier if you got the M-Lock standard for all of your other stuff you bolt onto your gun. Again, I'm like Squib on this one. I don't bolt a lot of extra stuff on my firearms, but I do like the M-Lock grade furniture. So I'm going to put my vote down for furniture on that one. Tony, number 7.
Now, you're going to have to bear with me on this because I don't know exactly where it came from, but
okay.
I'm told it's an armorer's cleaning kit.
Okay, specific armorer's cleaning kit. Okay.
This is about a $400 kit from.
Ooh.
I got it from the military.
Okay.
It was a military issue kit.
Okay.
But it's not the AR cleaning kit because that's a simple little $10 thingy.
Yeah.
This thing I got come with a whole bunch of different stuff. You know, a dozen different jags, brushes and whatnot, cables to use for cleaning rods, plus a stiff cleaning rod too. And it was issued by the Army to my daughter, but it's not an AR kit. It's for everything.
Okay. Cool. So we got that. All right. Let's see. Now again, we're 7. Tony just gave us his number 7. Squib, your next one. We had the M203 grenade launcher, and then Squib. What was the other thing we said? You said an armorer's wrench.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good.
So you need another?
Well, no. That'll be your 7 right now.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Nice strike.
I'm gonna steal ghosts. Bore snake was one I missed.
No problem. Yeah, you can.
That was a good
somebody. It's cool to be the first person to mention something, but if you're not, it's no big deal. Again, it's going to be a tally of the most mentioned anyway when we get the final list. Jim.
I'm gonna go with let's go generic and say spare parts, cam pin, firing pin, springs.
Just spare parts in general.
Just spare parts in general.
Cool. Yeah, because we haven't mentioned that specifically yet. So we mentioned the tools.
And they're cheap.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Cool. Okay, so spare parts. Ghost.
I'm going to go personal preference, and I want to go A2 front sight.
Removable, or you mean when you do your build, you would put that on as your?
I would put the A2 front sight on there from the build, yeah, but that's something I would definitely put on there.
Okay, me too. That's my preference.
I need to.
All right, so we'll come back to you, Nice Rick. You can make that your next one if you want to. David, what would you say? Number 7.
It would have to be purpose driven because normally I wouldn't do it, but a flashlight.
Okay, some sort of light, flashlight. Gotcha. Cool. All right, Tony, number 6. Or no, I guess. Am I number? Oh no, I'm number 7. I'm number 7. Sling for me for number 7. Tony, number 6.
I think for number 6, I would go with light.
Okay, flashlight, some sort of light. Okay, tactical
some
light,
sort of light
flashlight,
that you
grip
could
light.
use as a flashlight. Plus,
Okay.
you could put it on the gun if you wanted to, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. Squid, you got another one? Hey, Squib, what if we're talking maybe assembly? What might be something essential that a person's going to need aside from an armor's wrench? What makes life easier when you're building your lower, Squib? May have to come back to him in a second here. Nice Strike, what'd you mention before? Okay, you said...
No, I was agreeing with Ghosts before, but...
okay, number 6?
Other than armor's wrench, another set of tools that I bought for building were a set of punches specific to AR-15s.
Oh yeah, roll pin punches.
Roll pin punches,
Yeah.
and I've got that tool to help put in that front takedown pin?
Yeah, I
Pivot
started.
pin. That's what it is.
Anybody who
Front
does
pivot pin
anything-
is a pain to put in. The
Oh,
first
that one
anybody
where you
who-
can scar the receiver if you don't have that flat-faced punch.
No, that one where you have to literally hold that spring in, otherwise it flies everywhere.
Ah,
That front
You know
one.
what? I did mine with a little razor blade. I just moved it back and it went into the notch and that little pin with the spring behind it. I watched a video on how to do that with just like carpenter, like razor blade. You
I
can
bought a
put it in
tool
between and-
for $9 off of eBay that helps you. That literally helps you just put it in.
Yeah.
As easy as you can, and then once you're done, you just take it out and bam, you got your pin in.
Yeah, if you're going to do a
so
lot of
easy.
builds, get a specific tool if you're going to do a lot of builds.
So I'm going to say
Okay.
just write down punches.
Yeah, punches. I mean, yeah, I started putting this together, and all I had were the standard Harbor Freight flat front punches. I got the first pin, and I'm like, screw this. I went immediately and ordered a roll pin punch set. I'm like, all right, we're just because I couldn't buy one locally, unfortunately. I had to order one.
You saw my roll pin punch set that I got off of Amazon because they had
Mm-hmm.
an AR roll pin punch set, and it's like made in China by Chinese warrior monks.
You know, and again, if you're going to do your own build, just make it easy. Spend the $8, $9, get a roll pin punch set because it's just you're going to save time. You're gonna ruin your pins if you don't. It's just a pain. It's just more convenient to have a good set if you're going to do your own build. So it's $8 if you're going to save money in parts and marring the finish of the lower and stuff.
Plus, you don't realize even though you buy them for ARs, in some on some other firearms, you can actually use them on as well. And it actually it makes doing maintenance on your firearms or even putting together new firearms much easier.
Taking out a trigger group from a shotgun, many times there's just pins that hold those into place. Firearms, if you're going to take something apart,
Exactly.
Anybody who does anything with a gun needs a good set of punches.
I agree.
And
That should be one of the first things you buy, just because of whether you got to do a little maintenance yourself or push a pin back in or just get a set. Go online and get a set. Just look up roll pin punches or AR-15 roll pin punch set. Buy this. I think there's 6 or 8 of them that come in a full set. Get it. You're good to go. Okay, Jim, what's your number 6?
I'm going to go with flip-up sights.
Okay, so iron sights, flip-up sights. Whether you want to get fixed or flip up, yeah.
Right.
Do you have a preference? I love Midwest Industries. I think they make some of the nicest ones out there. They're expensive as hell, but they're money well spent. What do you think?
I haven't tried Midwest Industries, but
They're solid.
I like the Magpul ones.
Watch out with those front sights. If you have a low front gas block, the polymer sights could warp or melt from the heat coming off the low front gas block if you do a lot of shooting. And
Guess we'll find out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had my first AR was a DPMS Oracle and it had a low front gas block sight, and I ended up having to buy a special low front gas block flip up sight for it because if you didn't, your sights would never line up. It would always be low or high. And so there's not a lot of companies that make that, which kind of sucked because it was like $100 I had to drop in it. Then I'm thinking, why didn't I just get? And I didn't know about PSA back then. I didn't know. I just saw an inexpensive AR. Yeah.
So the one I got, my PSA AR is just an A2 front sight post. The one I got on Father's Day had a free float handguard, and so far it's been fine with the Magpul front sight.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ones that have the gas block right on the barrel. It's lower than the rear flat top on the upper receiver. Sometimes they don't make them to that standard for whatever reason. They make them lower. I don't know, Bushmaster might do that, and DPMS.
Yeah.
Low profile front gas block is what it's called. So, yeah, I got your flip up sights. Ghost.
I'm going flip up rear sights with, I've already got the A2 front, but I'm going to go with the flip up rear.
It's kind of nice to just have to buy one, isn't it?
It is. It is
or
nice.
put a carry handle on there. Done. For the carry handle was cheaper than a Magpul flip up rear end bus. And that's sad, but that's the truth. Now if I want to put an optic on there, I got to take that off, but you can slap it back on in a minute. So,
and I've got one of mine with Midwest, and I really like them. Really good. I've got another one of mine. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but Meprolite.
Meprolite.
Yeah, I've got one of those, and I like those. But Midwest are great. You're asking about those. I love them.
You pay for it, but you're getting good old school American quality.
Yeah, but see, I'm not a guy that really loves optics for the most part. I don't hunt, so I love shooting iron sights. So if you're an iron sight guy, then go ahead and spend some money. You're going to spend the same money. You're going to spend less on a good set of iron sights than you are a halfway decent optic. So you're going to spend the money regardless. So if you like iron sights, spend the money on them.
This also applies to guns other than ARs. If you have a bolt action that you're wanting to get a bolt action, you should have backup iron sights on it, even if you plan to use optic for just in case you're out and about and your optic gets broke. If you don't have iron sights, the gun's done.
Cool. No, that's a good point. Yeah, you should really consider having something on there as a backup if you need it, or if your battery doesn't work. So, all right. Okay, Ghost David, what about you? What's your number 6?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with the rest of the guys. My number 6 is going to be a scope, like a regular scope.
Optic?
But I spent probably the first 3 or 4 months with my AR just firing out of the iron sights. And my friend's got a high point, and I know everybody has their opinions about high points. But that thing shoots like a laser beam if you just use the stock sights. And we took it apart and we put it back together, the rail and all that, and we left out screws and it didn't tighten stuff down, and it was still tearing the center of the target up. You put a scope on it and you can't hit anything. But back to the point, I'd get a scope for my AR.
The problem with the high point is they don't have a mil-spec Picatinny rail on the top. They have their own polymer rail. You can get an aftermarket rail, I believe, that bolts on the top of your high point carbine.
Yes, you can.
And you might be able to make stuff work and fit Picatinny accessories you have. I know they sell it like with the BSA red dot on the top and stuff, but that's something that some guys complain about. So I hear what you're saying about the optics and stuff. It could be like, all right, cool. My number 6 is going to be a front sight tool for the A2. Because you can work without it. You can use a toothpick and just turn it. But if you want a little more precise movement, or you really want to keep track of your notches and your turning and stuff, it's nice to have. I've got one from Midwest Industries. I bought a UTG one or NC Star one, and it lasted a couple range trips, and it started to bend. The little prong started to bend, and all I did was push down on it. The little prong started to bend in because they weren't a very thick steel. I got the Midwest Industries one for like $15 delivered. It was expensive, but it's the same one I've had for years now. So, if you buy junk, you're going to get junk, is my opinion. So front sight tool for the AR. For me, Tony, number 5.
Oh God, I'm about out of ideas here.
It's okay. We'll just take it and see how far we can get here. Yeah, I got 5 left, but there are things that have already been mentioned for the most part. What would you say?
God, I would just go back to the cleaning supplies here.
Okay.
Some sort of bore solvent, especially.
Oh yeah. So-called cleaning supplies, bore solvent, lubricants, oils, that kind of thing. Okay.
The ARs are somewhat picky about being clean. So I would say look into that.
Okay.
I have no specifics on what brand.
Okay.
I really don't.
Everybody kind of has their opinion. Some guys like Ballistol, some guys like COP, some guys use motor oil. I just, whatever for lube and cleaning and stuff. And, bore solvents, you might want Safari Land. You might want to go with whatever, Hoppies. There's a lot of options out there.
I actually had good service using WD-40 as bore solvent.
Okay. Cool. Squib, moving on. What's your number 5?
Did I miss one?
I don't think so.
No,
I can go back and tell you. I got a list going on here. The list is enormous, but what would you say, man?
Flag safety.
Oh. Okay. Gotcha. Nice try.
I'm going to borrow another one of Ghosts. Carry handle.
Okay, 2 for the carry handle. I love the carry handle. Jim, number 5.
I'm gonna go with something to clean the bolt and bulk carrier group with. It's
bulk
a
BCG cleaning tool.
Whether it's that scraper or some small ultrasonic cleaner or something.
And you can buy multi-tools. I think we looked at this before, like stuff to put in the pistol grip. There are companies that sell multi-tools made just to disassemble and clean that bolt carrier group. Scraping off all the carbon. I mean, you can use other tools you have around the house, but there's something more specific to it. It might save you time and make life easier for getting all that spent powder deposits off of it.
Yeah. I found out that Hornady makes an ultrasonic cleaner it's specific to cleaning old brass, but you can use it for small gun parts too. I'm actually tempted to buy one.
You could disassemble the entire BCG, drop it in there, let it do its thing, take it out, clean it, lube it, you're good to go.
Link me to that because I probably
that'd be cool, man. Yeah, I know some of your gunsmiths and gun stores will do the ultrasonic cleaning on your firearms too if you want them to, and if you want to pay for it. But for that price, you could probably buy yourself the cleaner, and a couple trips would take care of it. So
I don't know, ain't that ultrasonic about $100? It
is.
Expensive.
No,
It depends on what size you get. You can get them small enough to just put like a lower in there, or you can get it big enough you put the whole dang rifle in there. It just depends on how big you want.
Because they have one that you could probably put the whole rifle, or at least the broken down rifle, and it's about $400.
Yeah.
And then there's the one that's, like I said, it's really it's marketed for brass, but you could clean, handgun slides or bulk carrier groups or whatever.
Definitely. That'd be a good idea. Something to consider too. All right, so a bulk carrier group cleaning tool. We can also throw in the ultrasonic cleaner. We can kind of group those two together if you want to.
Yeah.
Is it anything that's going to be used to specifically clean certain small parts on the gun that are just a pain that you spend time and money and patches and lube and cleaner solvents and stuff on? All right.
Look at the side chat.
Oh, there you go. Ghost.
I'm just going to go with a basic armor's toolkit that, in case you need to do some quick maintenance or whatever, just a regular basic armor's toolkit.
Okay.
Always a necessity.
Toolkit, disassembly kit you would use for cleaning. Yeah. You might get all that stuff together in one kit like what Tony was talking about earlier. Okay, I went ahead and marked that. David, what's your number 5?
I got to go with earplugs. Or, if you like headset, then that's what I'm an earplug guy. But
oh yeah. Yeah, a couple shots indoors without ear pro. No go without your ear pro. Sweet. All right, my number 5 is going to be a one-piece cleaning rod. Just because I've been stuck at the range and I've had a couple rounds not eject or not extract, and I had nothing to put down the barrel, and I had friends with me, so we had to put the AR back in the truck. I had no way to get it out. I was trying to pry it out. I could not get it to. It was stuck. I mean, I didn't want to tear up the inside of the receiver with my knife. So I learned quick. You got to have something with you to. Even the 3-piece, brass cleaning rods that you put together from a cleaning kit will work if you use a thick enough rod. Otherwise, if you go too thin, you can bend it or mess it up. Jim, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say good call.
That one's in there. You can get a nice one. You can get a carbon fiber one or just a nice enamel covered one from Walmart for $6 or $7. I have one in the back of my Jeep. It just sits in the back all the time, and I never know if I'm going to need it because you could use it with multiple firearms too if something gets kind of finicky.
I've had that happen to me. I had to come home and get the AK cleaning rod out.
Yeah, just
military. That Army kit that I got has a steel 3 or 4-piece rod in it. It must be 4-piece.
That'd be nice because the brass ones are designed to be cleaning. The brass rods that come with the cleaning kit are not designed to be hit and hammer. They're supposed to just be to pull a patch through and pull a bore brush through and a mop and all that stuff. So, and you can. And I've ruined 3-piece cleaning rods. Tapping stuff out before, and that's really not a good idea.
We'll stand beating on it because I have taken squibs out of my son-in-law's gun with it.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I dropped it down in there, and then I just whacked it with the freaking revolver.
Okay. Oh, my God. Well, hey, it works. It's going to work. All right, so let's see. Tony, we just got yours, right? You just gave me that one? You told me that one? Your number 4?
Oh, I didn't.
What's your number 4? If you have one.
I had something. I can't remember what the hell it was.
Anything with cleanings, disassembly, accessories, parts.
A carry handle. If I build an AR, it's going to have a carry handle.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Eric, carry handle. And if you look around, you can get good surplus carry handles for that. Might be a little beat up, but not too bad for about the same price as a new, aftermarket or UTG or NC Star or PSA or whatever. Because sometimes they vary between like $25 and $50 for a new one, not mil spec, not military issue one. So, okay, so we got yourself a carry handle. Squib, you got number 4 for me?
A case, only because transportation laws in my state.
Okay. Real quick, do you guys want to combine Ear Pro and iPro? Just.
I mean, AR-15 specific, I'd say earplugs probably going to work better than muffs if you're putting your head up against the stock, but that's more of a.
Okay, it'd be a choice if you think you need to use it. I mean, I do just for safety reasons, but okay.
Like where you're at, you can just toss your AR in the back of your Jeep and go down to the range.
Yeah,
but I've got a case mine here to drive a less distance to get to my range. And then when I get to the range, even though you can open carry a sidearm there and a holster on your belt, or conceal carry at the range if you wanted to, they want you to bring long guns or anything that's not on your body, that's not in a holster. They want you to bring it in a case. So I don't know if any gun clubs have that rule where you can go out there and bang away all day with a detachable box, semi-auto rifle. Just bring it in a case unloaded. I don't know.
And I do for travel. If we go out of town, and I'm taking one of the cases over here, or a more specific AR case is going to go with me, just for hiding purposes, for concealing purposes, for transport, ease of movement.
Ear and iPro shouldn't be an accessory. That should be anything with a gun. You should use Ear and iPro.
Well, you might want to step up and get some nice electronic Ear Pro, or an accessory might go beyond
phones. They suck with long guns.
What's that? They do?
They suck with long guns.
Okay, I just use traditional, muffs over the year that do a good decibel reduction, so that's all I go with, and it does the job. Some guys like to do foam, earplugs, and then also earmuffs also for double the protection, especially you got hearing that's going, or if you've got tinnitus, or you've got a history of hearing loss, or whatever, it's okay to double up. Who cares? You're going to be able to walk away and have less issues down the road. So.
Electric cans, but I don't like them shooting long gun at all because they're just in the friggin' way.
Yeah, that's another part too, is trying to get up on your stock. It's not easy to try to get that without pushing up against it. Okay.
I buy big bags of earplugs.
Okay. Night Strike, you got a number 4 for me?
Just skip Squib again?
No, I don't. Squib's had a case.
All right.
Yeah.
On the whole cleaning rod thing, I've had problems where I was shooting steel case and I put a cleaning rod together and it wouldn't do the job. So I went out and I think it was I got a single brass rod that you'd get for welding supplies.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Just a brass rod stick that you'd use for welding and what's the other one? You'd use in welding and other things.
Okay.
And I used that. And just one tap of a hammer with a little oil on it, and it got that steel case out easy. So I would say, while a cleaning rod works, but I've broken cleaning rods trying to get not brass, but steel out of chambers. So I would say a brass rod.
Okay. Any kind of a one-piece rod, whether for cleaning or for shell extraction. Sure.
I would recommend it be brass because that way it does not hurt the inside of your rifle.
Yep. There you go. Okay. Let's see. Jim, number 4.
Number 4, I'm going to go with an optic.
Okay. It takes me a moment to find. We got a really lengthy list of all these going on now. Okay, got your optic. Sounds good.
That list.
Yeah. Ghost?
An accessory for me that may be simple, but for all my ARs, I go with an extended bolt release. I use Phase 5.
Oh, okay.
I like an extended bolt release, yeah.
Okay. Extended bolt release. We didn't really cover like hop-up parts as its own category, but that's a good idea. Extended bolt release. Okay, we got you there. It's a good one. All right, David?
I'm not too sure if this one's going to count or not, but my favorite accessory for my AR is the ammunition.
Oh, okay. Maybe getting something beyond, 55 grain or M193 or, just actually getting
Well,
something a little step up, or what?
You should
Or-
actually try much ammo in your gun.
That's kind of what I
because
was
it'll
leaning
like-
toward. Is there's so much you can learn about the differences between the different ammos and the different grains and the different bullet types and.
Oh yeah,
You
your
know.
rate of twist and your grain. Once you get out past 100 yards, it has a huge
Well,
impact on your accuracy.
Even at that, each gun will like different ammo.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if it's the same twist and whatnot as the next one, it'll like different ammo. Just the nature of it.
My Bear Creek will shoot Tula all day long, and I've heard of people that had Bear Creek Arsenal rifles that don't like steel case, and they recommend you not shoot steel case ammo through it. I never had any problem. I never had anything stick. I've never had any failure to extract at all. I mean, the thing just runs it. It just eats it. I mean, I've ran plenty of brass to break it in, but you want to find what the gun's going to like to run. Like the AR pistols from PSA, I think it might be a 1 in 7 or 1 in 8 twist. I like to run the PMCX TAC 62 grain through that 5.56. That's a nice heavier round to run through the shorter barrel with that rated twist. It really does work well with it. So yeah, you kind of accessorize your ammo a little bit, or maybe make a nice hand load or a good precision load also. It's good. A good suggestion. All right, my number 4 is going to be rail sections, like an M-lock or a key mod rail section that you can put on your handguard so that you can add your accessories. I've got one on my Bear Creek on an angle where I could just put a flashlight on there if I wanted to and take it off, or you could maybe put it underneath the handguard if you want to add a vertical foregrip easily. So any kind of a rail section. And by the way, if you go on Amazon, you can get M-lock rail sections that are just generic for pennies on the dollar compared with what Magpul wants for one section. I think like 2 or 3 inch Magpul M-lock section is like $12. I bought some other polymer ones. I can't tell the difference between those and Magpul, and they were like $6.99 for like 6 different rail sections. So if I wanted to mount something somewhere on the handguard or the furniture anywhere that's M-lock compatible, it's on there. So I'm going to go rail section for that. All right, we're down to number 3. Number 3, Tony. It's getting tough, man. We got a heck of a list.
I'm going to go with the scope for that.
Optic?
Not so much an optic as a scope. Scope doesn't require a battery.
Okay. Well, I guess when I think of optic, I'm thinking of a scope or a red dot or a hollow sight or a whatever, reflex sight. So, okay, good scope. All right. Squibby, number 3. It's getting tough.
Yeah, it is. I'll be a stick in the mud. I'll say a cable lock.
Okay, hang on 1 second here. Cable lock, okay. Good to have around because you never know if, and if you buy 2 different components for PSA, they don't come with a cable lock. David, what did oh no, David's gone. I was going to ask him what his, he might come back, what his AR came with, because in Maryland they've got requirements. Yeah, go ahead.
When you're on the bus ride up north from San Diego to Camp Pendleton, you cable lock your M16 to the post of the bench seat on the school bus that they've got you riding up there on.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. But if you need to do the same thing in your vehicle, you could cable lock through the action to the feet that mount your car seat to the floor pan of your vehicle or somewhere else. So,
and sometimes your AR pistol might be considered a handgun. You have to follow pistol handgun rules, and it may need to be in a lockbox or locked in some way to the vehicle that it can't be easily removed. So if you had a longer cable lock, you could run through the action and run around some part of the vehicle, so it's hard mounted. That would be a way to legally store your firearm concealed or whatnot, depending on what you got to go with. You might have a case that has a hole on it for a cable lock. So yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay. David, real quick, did your Ruger AR come with any kind of a specific cable lock or a barrel lock or something? Since with Maryland you have to have that with your firearms, or is that only handgun?
Well, the handgun, you're required before you leave the store to have the barrel lock or a chamber lock inside the pistol itself.
Mm-hmm.
The rifles, you don't have to, but they all come with that cheap little cable lock.
Okay.
Yeah,
or a trigger lock or something like that.
Okay.
I got a whole shitload of Ruger cable locks here.
Yeah, there we go. Just hand them out to people with giveaways.
I had mentioned on the Obnoxious one, he put out a video, and I'd asked him he should take a poll on how many people have, like, how many cable locks are out there still in the bag. I've got probably 10 of them sitting here in a drawer, just sitting there still in the original bag.
You know, I had a wooden gun cabinet before I had any kind of a safe or a gun locker at all. And it, you know, had a glass door on it. It was a wood. It looked pretty and stuff, but then I had to go buy trigger locks to put on all of them because I didn't want the cable locks on them. I just decided to do the trigger locks because I was able to get one common key to use on all of them. It was just easier that way. And so yeah, I have like 50 of those things sitting around now. It's terrible. I know I can't get. I don't want to get rid of them, but I don't know what to do with them. So I can give them away as stocking stuffers this year, maybe. I don't know.
Well, some stores in Maryland charge you for it. Some of them say that they don't charge you for the barrel lock or the chamber lock, but it's already fixed into the price because
yeah,
you know they're not giving anything away for free. They're about $20 a piece.
Oh my god!
I can tell you, Marlins come with this 2 pieces of steel that go around the receiver, and a padlock. I mean, it's got to be $10-12 worth of stuff.
I think the Ruger 1022s do some unusual safety lock with them also. I've only had one, and I only had it for a short period of time. I thought they had some sort of a weird lock that comes with them, something that bracket or something. I don't remember. Yeah. Okay. Nice Strike. What's your number 3?
Write down magazines.
Okay. Gotcha. Jim, what's your number 3?
Unmute, and I'm gonna go with the pin punches. Roll pin punches,
gotcha.
AR specific punches.
Okay. All right. Ghost, number 3.
Number 3 is going to go furniture.
There we go. Cool. All right. David, number 3.
I've got a little Gerber multi-kit cleaning tool, kind of like a little Swiss Army knife that's got a bunch of different, you can bunch of different tools in one little thing. It's about the size of the palm of your hand.
Oh yeah. Cool. So just some sort of a pocket multi-tool, whether it's a Leatherman or some sort of a AR specific. I've got one just sitting over here too. I can't remember what brand it is, but it's got certain kinds of wrenches on it and scrapers and tools used specifically for your AR-15. All right, cool. For me, my number 3, no surprise, Boar Snake. Okay, number 2, Tony. We're almost done, man.
Oh,
we're getting there. 2 more.
I don't know, some sort of ammo carrier.
Ooh, okay. Pouches or some sort of a, yeah, okay.
Gotcha. I don't know how to narrow it down for the AR more than that because.
No, you could have like a multi-pouch bag that you wear, like in like a Molly bag or something like that, or something that you keep on your vest, like a multiple magazine carrier, mag carrier. We call it magazine carrier, I suppose. All right.
That's me. I don't care.
Okay, Squid. What about you? You have a number 2?
Front sight tool.
All right. Gotcha.
Even though you don't need one to adjust a fixed front sight, but it makes it convenient.
Yeah, especially if you go out there and you're trying to like turn it and twist it, and it's kind of pain in the butt. Especially if you have a real tight spring on those, sometimes it'll move easy.
I mean, it's the difference between using a bottle opener or using your teeth, right?
This is true. I tend to use a corner of a counter, but or you just get twisties and not worry about it. Nice Strike, number 2.
What was the last one I said?
That you said?
Yes.
I
said magazines.
Did you say magazines?
Yes.
Okay.
This one, I would say probably ammo.
Okay. Gotcha. Always good to have. Jim, number 2.
So for the reloaders out there, how about a brass catcher of some sort?
Ooh, it's a new one. All right. Sounds
clearly
good.
That's in no specific order because that wouldn't be my favorite option. But
yeah. What we have the most frequency with is going to be probably the things that your typical person would want to go buy their first AR. What are they going to, on average? What's your average person going to get? Because we all seem to have a lot of the same stuff,
Yep.
Ghost, number 2.
Number 2, even though I don't particularly like using them, I'm going to say an optic, just because a lot of people would. They don't have to be a scope; it could be a red dot or something, but an optic of some sort.
Sure, anything, right? Anything going beyond iron sights. All right, David, number 2.
Got to go with cleaning kit this time.
Okay, cleaning supplies. Let's see, cleaning tool, and the cleaning kit. Gotcha. Okay, we're good there. For me, a number 2 is just going to be some sort of a flashlight that I can clip on it or take off of it. Maybe we'll just clip right onto a Picatinny rail. Okay, so some sort of a light that I could use, whether it's, sensor pressure activated or just click it on, click it off, and so on. That's my number 2. Tony, number 1, man. We finally got there.
Number 1's the same as number 10 for me, and that's a sling because it's the most useful accessory that you can use with a gun.
Safely carrying your firearm, whether it's for a patrol or it's just a walk out to the range to go check your targets, or getting it out of your vehicle and carrying it, or carrying it in the house. So you got, your hands are full. Yeah, sling. I mean, $10. I usually get the Butler Creek neoprene slings. I just do 2-point. I don't do any kind of a 1-point sling or adjustable or anything like that. These are $10. They're comfortable. They're kind of a weight-bearing sling, so they stretch a little, and they take off some of the weight of that firearm on your shoulder, especially if you're going to do any multi-mile walk. Keep them on the hunting rifles. I keep them on everything. I mean, I guess I don't have one over on the Maverick, but I probably should pick one up for it. But sling's an awesome idea. Squib, number 1.
Oh boy.
What haven't we mentioned, huh? The definitive top 10.
I'm trying to think of stuff that I've got, stuff that I've used, stuff that I've included. How about a military armorer's manual?
Oh, there you go.
You don't need no internet connection. You don't need no videos or anything like that. You just need to be able to read.
Yeah. Yeah, simple enough. You can maintain it. Everything you need, you don't have to worry about. Yeah, you can read
TM dash something other.
Okay, cool. Good suggestion. All right, Nice Strike, number 1.
Number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say bayonet twice, can I?
Different type of.
No.
Anything that your average person's going to get if they get anything. If they go with the AR, what are they going to go buy?
You know what? Just throw optic on there.
Okay. That's a popular one today. That's fine.
I know I said carry handle earlier, but you can put an optic on a carry handle.
What's funny?
You've got a carry handle that will have. Yeah, you can mount an optic on it.
Believe it or not, even though you have, if your carry handle is detachable or not, it still has the hole to where you can mount an actual rail on top of it and have optics on it. And I would do that first over than just taking the carry handle off and putting it off.
Sure. No, that makes the most sense. Yeah. Sounds good. Now, you guys that have experience with those ghosts, can you see through it with that rail mounted, or does the rail mount inside the handle?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Does a rail on a carry handle mount inside, or does it sit on top? It mounts inside, doesn't it, because of the holes?
The one that I use is an inside, yeah.
Okay, so it's going to block your rear iron side, but you could still take it off.
You can't, yeah, but again, I don't use a lot of optics, but there are some that will mount on top.
Okay.
And if you grab the handle, it might chew your hand up a little bit on, when you're grabbing it. But I mean, there are rails that will mount on top that you can mount an optic. I don't particularly use optics a whole lot. So yeah, I mean, you have both ways. I mean,
I've got one that actually it fits on the carry handle, but it's set up to where you can actually see through the rail if you need to use the iron sights.
Yeah, no, that'd be maybe kind of go that route if you need to. Yeah. Sweet. All right. Okay. Again, we're down to number 1. Jim.
Okay, so this is actually my number 1. It is in a particular order now, and I'm going to say spare mags. I think that's the best thing you can get.
Yeah, just because you never know when they're not going to be there. If there's ever going to be a restriction put in place or another scare where they're all going to get snatched up and resold on cheaper than dirt. So
and they're theoretically designed to wear out eventually anyway, so they're considered consumables. So.
Yeah, I've got my first PMag that I think I've worn out. It won't lock. It won't. I think the little tabs have finally worn out. It was one of the first PMags I ever bought. It's like a Gen M2 with a little window in it, and it won't lock into either of my lowers. So I'm maybe gonna call Magpul and see if I can send it back for an exchange. I don't know if they do a lifetime guarantee on their magazines. I might be kind of interested in looking at it from a building perspective, because when I've tried it in 3 different lowers, and it will not lock into place no matter what you do to it. So, and it's not warped or anything. It's just, even if you take the upper off, it still won't lock in. I think that the catch on the right side is finally worn out because it's been the one mag I've just always grabbed. I've always taken it with me. I might just give Magpul a call and just see what happens. That'd be kind of interesting to see what they tell me. So, all right. So magazine's good. Ghost, number 1.
It's not necessarily an accessory to the AR, but you mentioned earlier, if someone buys an AR, what else would they buy? I'm going to say targets.
Ooh.
Go buy targets. Become proficient with your firearms. Get to the range. If you buy targets, it might force you to go to the range and use them.
I would probably bump that up to an official number 1, because if you don't know how to shoot the gun and you can't hit anything, and it's nothing wrong with shooting at a paper plate with a dot on it, but it's nice having a reactive target that you can see easily.
Exactly.
And really track the motion of your bullets, and it's more precise. And you can, depending, and you can make it for anything as much as precision shooting or just simply sighting in your iron sights.
Exactly. You're zeroing in optics, sighting in your sight. I mean, anything and everything in between. The most important thing is, why are you going to buy an AR if you're just going to have it hanging on a wall? Use it, be proficient with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. David, what's your number 1?
I'd probably have to go with furniture.
Okay.
And then if I was going to amendment after what Ghost just said, I'd say a membership to a gun range.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Ooh, there we go. An honorable mention. Heck yeah, because again, what good's your gun if you're not proficient with it? All right, I'm going to tally up the top 10 real quick here. It doesn't take much because there's a lot of marks for quite a few of these things. We have quite a few that have 3s, that have 3 votes for it. So there are things that you could see a lot of us having, but wouldn't necessarily be a necessity. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's done. Okay, and my number 1 hasn't been mentioned at all by anybody. My number 1 is a magazine block to put it in a vise. They're cheap. You can use it to build the gun. You can use it to clean the gun. You can use it to repair the gun. So those little magazine blocks, I bought one off eBay that was highly rated. No name brand, whatever, polymer magazine block. You can reverse it. You can flip it either way. It goes over, under. It's got a couple different depth settings on it too. It's got like 2 different sides, 2 different heights. And that thing is just awesome. And I used it to build the lower. I bought the block just to build the lower, but I think it was like $6 or $7. So I'm going to go with the magazine block.
I actually almost said that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, you can, and I didn't, here I've had an AR for years, and I just bought the magazine block 6 months ago.
You can throw that in honorable mentions.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like, why didn't I do this years ago? So, all right, so in order, now there's going to be some ties for 4 tallies, 3 tallies. The number 1 that popped up was, let's see, 7 votes for the sling, 6 votes for the optic, and then we get into a couple 4s, iron sights, furniture. Then after that, we get into a bayonet, a carry handle, armorer's wrench, bore snake, flashlight, magazines, and a clean kit. So if you're going to go out and get your first AR, just go back and write that list down. Go get those things, and you can function just fine. But there was a lot of little essentials that we had mentioned too that probably should have came up there. One honorable mention, one that also was almost up there, the front sight tool would be another one to consider. So that's it. That's your top 10 list of AR accessories. So whoever requested that, I hope we answered it exhaustively for you. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty, I want to keep that around for a little while in case I might just go and post that in the description box so you guys know what that was that we just mentioned. So if you're going to go out and get an AR, let's assume the lower receiver's already built. What do you need to enjoy it the most? These are things that we've all bought. Most of us have bought these things at one point or another, and I'm sure there'll be even more carryover because you got this and I got that, but we just didn't mention it today. So, wow. All right. So
now all of you have the Marine Corps manual. I just sent it to all of you.
So, man, this has been a very educational Caliber Corner, man. We've really covered everything. How to start with building your own AR versus buying one. What tools do you need? What products do you need? What accessories do you need to function with? How to function if the power grid goes down and you got a jet. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good essential survival episode of Caliber Corner. So we have a lot of people joining us today. Let's go ahead and give a little recognition to the crowd over on gunchannels.com. Get over there and sign up if you're not. Again, Paper Plane Crash is there. Let's see, Patrick is with us also. Jim, you were over there and over here too. Over on the YouTube side, we've got a pretty good sized crowd. Jim, Sketchy Roll, Enrique Sonora, Stephen Dawkins. Stephen, I got the address, so thank you. Black Cat Outdoors, Lead Life, Squib, Chris W., Sean Newman, Ricky Williams was with us. Storm and Norman was with us also. Let's see, who else? Clay Huber was out there. Let's see, Recycle the Cable Lock's not a bad idea. William Edwardovich was out there too. I don't want to miss anybody. I know Tardot was with us for a while. We had Clovertac jump in with us. Samson won. A lot of people here today. Stan was with us from SS Pond today, too. Thank you, Stan, for joining in and all your support of the channel. Jorge Cortez is with us. Vanessa Kitty was with us today, too. Man, I apologize if I missed anybody. Sean Ponnery was out there. Sean, I'm going to get you that empty brass. I took the Ruger Super Red Hawk Alaskan out to the range yesterday and ran 20 rounds of 454 Casull through it. It was absolutely exhilarating. Now I just need a down payment for one, and I'm ready to go. Otherwise, I think that's about it. We'll let the panel close it out and say a few words. David, we're going to start off with you. Anything you want to say before we go? Any information you want to share with the crowd? Plug your channel? Anything we can look forward to?
Yeah, just appreciate the invite. Glad to be a part of the conversation. And everybody check out my channel. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the section below. And
cool.
Be on the lookout. I'll have my AR-10 build updates as I go. And obviously for YouTube reasons, I'll be doing the assembly videos on guntube.org. And if I can figure out how to get them on gun channels, I'll do that. YouTube will just be this is what I have and this is what it looks like kind of stuff.
Yeah. Not to interrupt you real quick, Nodak357 said, I'm here. Okay, Nodak, thanks for joining us. Gizzard Gary, thanks for joining us too, sir. Again, I'm trying to go through the whole list. You know, and that we've had a lot of requests to do a reloading chat, a reloading talk. We did 3 awesome Caliber Corner episodes on reloading. They're over on guntube.org. Just type in Caliber Corner and they're called the reloading chats. I don't really want to do a lot with reloading here because in the video, Squid was taking us through the reloading process step by step, and you could see it, and I don't want to get any kind of a strike for giving advice on how to reload because we all know reloaders cause the problems in this world, right? Anyway, those videos are over there on guntube.org if you want to watch really good reloading chats over there. I think we did 2 more later on. I think we did 5 episodes of Caliber Corner on reloading alone. We covered everything, powder, bullet selection, press choices, dies, all that fun stuff. So there's really good information over there. Ghost, anything you want to plug before we call it, buddy?
I just want to thank you for having me. As I always do, say get to the range, take someone with you, introduce them to firearms. And if you're out there, turn your camera on, become a creator. We need all the help we can get. And if you are bored and you want to feel dumber about the whole process, then go watch my stuff.
Hey,
thanks for having me,
man. They're a lot of fun, dude. The videos are great. I've improved a lot from watching the videos, so thanks for putting that out there, man. All right. Jim, anything you want to say before we go?
If you live in Texas, vote in November against this ridiculous Robert Francis O'Rourke, who calls himself Beto, like some sort of idiot.
I don't know, man. Is he what is he running on the Republican platform or Democrat?
No, he's running on the Democratic platform, and he's actually at this point he's a credible threat. Not that Ted Cruz is the best thing since sliced bread, but he's gotten some popularity, so he needs to be voted against.
His supporters have stated that they want to take away the Second Amendment from people.
Yeah,
guys, you got to get active. You got to get out there. If you're a Texan and you care about this, you need to get out there and vote. You need to get the word out because these little, spreads, unfortunately, and before you know it, you're losing your rights and you're losing and what was once a good time to own your firearms is now regulated and restricted and God knows what else. So don't let it happen, man.
And honestly, if you're a Irish white guy who tries to call himself Beto, you should probably be voted against anyway.
Does he have Hispanic or Latino heritage at all?
No. He grew up in El Paso, and he had some friends back at the time who called him that because it's short for Robert. And
oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Just taking that into his little marketing strategy and trying to attract the Hispanic vote.
Okay. All right. Nice Rick. Anything you want to say?
It doesn't make sense that an Irishman is wanting more gun control when the Irish traditionally broke away from the English.
He's just a typical progressive Democrat. That's all.
I guess he's not even really Irish. He's just faking it, probably. But anyways, everybody's plugged guntube.org. So all I got left is check us out. Check me and Travis out on our podcast, Hit or Miss, every Tuesday nights at 9:00 Eastern. On the Night Strike One channel on YouTube. Travis is now my official.
What's that?
You have replaced Speggy now.
Oh no, dude, no. No, I can't live up to that reputation. Are you, dude? No, I don't want bad blood between me and this mixer. I don't need a little snowman showing up in my door in January wanting to have a talk with me about how things have gone with the family business. You know, I can't. I'm gonna just be an unofficial.
I'm kidding. You're the unofficial co-host.
Thank you. No, that's way too much stress. I can't handle that kind of pressure. No.
Right.
And real quick, guys, Mel the Nut out there, it is his birthday today, so Mel's an awesome guy. I got the notice on Facebook through that.
Happy birthday, Mel.
Happy birthday, Mel.
Happy birthday, Mel. Go out there and buy yourself a gun. Or have somebody go, well, no, don't have them buy you a gun. Get the money, go get a gun. Slip him for his birthday. Yeah.
Don't put your stuff down, Ghost. Your content is 10 times better than Langley Firearms Academy.
Well, gee, thank you so much for that.
I'd say at least.
Did you read that off of Reddit or something?
No, that's
No, I emailed that to him to read.
Yeah,
Okay.
I might have been bought off.
No, we're not too popular with the Reddit crowd, right, Ghost?
Not so much.
Last time I checked, we just try to steer clear. I did try to get into some gun chats with some people over there, and that's fine, but it's just, I'm too old for Reddit. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Where are we at right now? Squib, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, later today, was it 3 Eastern? Rick's going to have Rick's Life as I See It.
Okay.
And Monday night, 11 o'clock Eastern, 11 p.m. Eastern, 2300 hours. Lock and Load on Hawaii Volcano Squad's channel. And then next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 1900 hours. Budget Guns and Gear Review. And I'm not going to steal Night Strike's thunder there. And lots of other good shows in between. Rick's Life as I See It does a Wednesday show also at 7 o'clock. So shows all week. Oh,
again,
and
gun channels, man. Yeah.
Sandhill's inaugural show, right? Tuesday?
Yeah, coming up. Yep.
Whatever you want to call it.
Should be on right after Hit or Miss, if I'm not mistaken. So, yep. 2A Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Second Amendment Tuesday. Yeah, should be good stuff. So do check that out.
And
yeah.
Ghost, what day is your second show on?
Well, it's a podcast. It's a produced podcast, so I'll release it every other Sunday. So next Sunday will be the second installment. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we got some shows.
I only have the one live show. The other one's going to be a produced podcast.
So it's not going to be live, guys.
No, it will not be live. It'll be pre-recorded and just be released on the podcast platforms.
Okay. Yeah, we try not to
edited for content and time.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it under 30 minutes, and it sounds weird, but I've been doing a lot of research that the vast majority of podcasts try to be between 20 and 30 minutes because I think 40 minutes is the average commute time in urban America. And so if you try to keep a podcast at 30 minutes, then they'll be able to catch the entire podcast in their car rides and not have to stop and go back to it. So I'm going to try to keep it a 30-minute podcast.
Right now we're at 180.
Well, no, this is
we're
an
kind of
actual
breaking the rules here.
podcast.
Yeah.
That's just an actual podcast that you put on, the people just throw the audio up,
We make podcasts for people that have to tile their homes, Jim. For people that have to repaint their houses inside, and
Yep.
You can put us on for hours. We'll make the pain go away, and then
or people that need
that's a good
to
point,
listen to
guys.
something when they're building their ARs.
There you go.
I'll tell you what, and this is no offense, but I very rarely can catch your show live because I'm at work usually.
Yeah.
But I tell you what I also do is when I go to the range is when I catch up on a lot of shows. Because I'll put it in the background on my phone. I'll take some speakers with me, and I'll just put on your show or other shows that I've missed throughout the week. So I'll be out there for a couple hours, and I'll listen to shows while I'm at the range. So it's really good.
Oh yeah, working out in the garage or traveling, especially if you're on the road and you just you got it saved on your phone or you have it downloaded wherever and you can play it that route, the podcast and stuff. So no, I hear you, man. It's good stuff. Very good stuff. All right, Tony, anything you want to say before we call it?
Nope. Good day, everybody.
All right, Tony, thanks for joining us.
Yep. I got no news on the early watch or nothing, so good day.
Okay. Well, as soon as Early Watch comes back, we'll make a big announcement about it. And we'll get that sucker up and running and talk to Jimmy and see what we can do to get that sucker fired up. So good stuff. All right. Well, hopefully we didn't miss anybody when we did our little roll call. Ricky Williams said, "Nice hat, Travis." Yeah, this is Babe's Chicken Dinner House in Garland, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. the best home style meal I think you can get in a restaurant, where they bring everything out on plates. Everything's made from scratch. I think there's 2 locations. It is absolutely amazing. Try to go there when I go down to visit my family down in Texas. So Babe Chicken Dinner House in the house. I did actually buy it there. I did get it there after I ate.
Speaking of hats, Travis, I've got a hat.
Say it.
Shut up, you infringed.
There you go. Is that the Pastor Tulsa?
Also, Travis, I got a new pin.
Yeah, I see you've joined the wrong side. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I don't know if you've watched the movies, but we always win.
For the Empire.
Hashtag for the Empire. All right, man. Cool stuff. All right. Well, nice, Rick. You do be safe. Guys, everybody be safe. Again, the advice we're giving you hopefully can help you out in some way, shape, or form. We are going to go and do the fall hunt deer chat next Saturday. So if you're interested in learning about deer hunting, you guys are on the panel. Welcome to join in. If you want to contribute, you can. Bring your questions. Ask your questions. We'll try to watch the chat closer. And if a lot of questions start popping up, we can answer them once we get through some of the basics. Cover everything from selecting a firearm, where to go, what to do, to ammunition, to, and the thing is, we all got different kinds of geography that we live in, different foliage and so on that we're going to be dealing with. Some of you might be hunting on an open prairie. Others might be doing thick woodlands hunting. There's a lot of different types of terrain. So we'll try to cover all the questions and answer what we can for you. And then if you want to get, if you're going to get into your first deer hunt, where do you go? What do you do? We're not really going to talk so much about what to do with the deer after you're done with it, because there's a lot of videos on YouTube about processing. Again, we did a whole episode of Caliber Corner on how to process the deer, what to do step by step, what's next, what tools do you need, what knives do you need, and all that fun stuff. So we've got a lot of information out there for you already on how to process a deer. It's called, Now That the Hunt's Over, What Do I Do? It was an earlier episode we did last year. So check it out if you want that information. Otherwise, I think that's about it. So this has been Caliber Corner number 58. We'll bring you number 59 next Saturday, hopefully with no problems. And we should be all set. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you for supporting the channel. Again, you can subscribe, Travis P11 over on YouTube, guntube.org. It's Caliber Corner over on gunchannels.com. I'm on Gunstreamer and UGEtube and pretty much everything else. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. So,
Guntube.org.
What's that? Who? Cartoon Network?
Guntube.org.
Oh, of course. Guntube. Always, man. Guntube.org. Love going over there, too. So support Guntube.org on Patreon. Guys, I want you to have fun, be safe, have a great weekend. And anybody want to leave us with a few goodbyes?
Bye, Alicia.
Have a really nice day, Felicia.
Adios, Felicia.
Felicia, we did not know you long enough.